Hello, hello. It is time. It is race day. Big 20 number 16. What is up, chat? I see some familiar faces in chat. Hope everyone's doing well. It is race day. It is race day. So it is me. It is Apollo. I will be doing a quick little pre-show, and I'm actually being joined today with DH Stom. How you doing today?
Hello. Hey, doing great. I am so excited for this race, and I am definitely looking forward. This is a very different set of games from what you see with the popular votes, and I think you're going to be in for a real treat today.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's really like I will say personally, as much as the best of like the People's Choice races are super cool, and we have a huge audience and a huge like amount of runners for those. I really enjoy these types of races because these are games that like there's a lot of games that I didn't necessarily play until like we were doing testing and stuff, and just to see people be able to like find some strats, put up some good times. We've had some like different world records during this practice, so that this is going to be awesome.
Indeed, especially considering this actually features both 4 homebrew games, including some games that actually the creators are in the race today, so that'll be fun to watch. And also the first ever randomizer included. It was a pre-rolled seed, and yeah, this is very different, very awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and I figure we only got, if we look at the timer in the top right, there's we got less than an hour left, so I figured let's take 1 or 2 minutes. I have little scenes prepared for each game, and we'll just kind of talk about each game for like 60 seconds or so. And so we're gonna start off with scene one, game one. We have Gyromite that's beat phase 10. It's gonna be a quick little one. We got to keep going with the black box games, and also you want to talk about how there's actually like a special kind of edition of the game that we're playing?
Absolutely. So ordinarily, you would either use your second controller, or if you feel really fancy, you can use Rob the Robot in order to raise up and lower those red and blue cylinders. But in this case, we have a special version of the ROM where you can actually do that just on your first controller, which is what I believe the vast majority of our players are going to be doing.
Yeah, it is. It is really cool. This is something that we were like, oh, we really want this game in, but like, we've played games and had games and races where like up and A for like other, to like warp and stuff like that, and we're like, theoretically we could have the second controller, but it'd be just much easier to do it this way. So, but yeah, so that's game one, and actually, oh, the music. I need to get the music going. Oh, we didn't hear the Gyromite music. We had to keep that going. Okay. So then we got, after game one, we're gonna have game two, which is Streamers. And so Streamers is one that you were talking about. It's one of the homebrew games.
Indeed. So it is based on an Action 52 game, and will look kind of similar to Bionic Commando for anyone who knows that. But it is a very, very unique game where you are just trying to work your way through using a bionic arm and dodging clowns and pies and all kinds of fun stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a fun one, and it's one that what's really nice about this is like, sure, there's some like difficult spots, but it's definitely a game where like if you screw up, you make a mistake, like you kind of get right back into the spot real quickly. So that's real nice. People are gonna go for some risky things, and hopefully that doesn't really stop anyone from going for something too risky, because like you're gonna get back to that same spot. So.
It's true. I think that this one in particular, for anyone who has decided to try and run this blind, is going to be the first big stopper. I think that this game is actually going to create some early contenders for the leads of this entire race.
Yeah, there's definitely been a good amount of different times we've seen for sure. So someone that has a good run of this is going to get out to a nice early lead and bring you right into game number 3. Which is going to be Joust. And Joust is one that, like, people were a little, like, I remember the first week of practice, it was a spooky game for some people. And I think we've started getting, like, more comfortable, a little bit better with it. But so what we ended up doing, even though the goal is 100,000 points, you could also go for 20 waves total. And that's just kind of like a safety, whereas sometimes in games like this, something crazy could happen, and you don't want something crazy like that to happen in like game number 3 to really make someone not want to continue racing. So I do think there's going to be some time differences for sure in this, but everyone should be able to get through this one way or the other.
Indeed. So upon watching a lot of people, most of the people that are reaching 100,000 are doing it approximately wave 15, 16 in there. But that gets to be a very dangerous part of the game. There's definitely a lot of pterodactyls running around and the more advanced Joust AI enemies. And it's really easy to find yourself suddenly, losing a couple of lives really quick. And so that safety is in there for those players.
Yeah, that definitely, like, it seems like one of those games where like you like lose one life, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. Like, you got to be able to take that death, see where you are, make the next best decision. And yes, the pterodactyl, that's what we'll be flying around. And so that's game number 3, and then we'll move on to game number 4, and that is X's. Oh, look, the music came up immediately. It's like it knew. It's like it knew. And so the important thing about this game is the main character is called Apollo, and so that's honestly the only thing that matters for this game, in my opinion. I think that's the only thing that matters. But it's a cool game. If you haven't played it, definitely try it out. There's, welcome Apollo. But there's some cool stages. You got like some run and gun action. You got sometimes some cool boss fights, some auto-scroller stuff. So it'll be great.
Indeed. The goal for this one is to beat Area 3. It's a little bit unique because Area 1 and Area 3 have both the side-scrolling aspects and also the shooter, auto-scroller style. And I believe that Area 2 is just the shooter, the auto-scroll. But yeah, you'll get a lot of different weird enemies and boss fights and a little chance to sample everything in this game.
Yeah, that's really cool. A nice little variety, and even just like looking at these first 4 games, great variety. And then if we're talking about variety, we got it's puzzle time. And so after Xexix, we're going for game number 5, and that's Loops. So I will say that Loops is one of the 2 games that I probably played the most during when we were kind of testing goals. This is another game that could be super spooky. It starts off fair enough, where you get the little corners, you got some small straight pieces, and then as you get farther and farther, going towards your 25 loops, you end up getting these like big Z pieces, these like all giant Tetris pieces that really just like throw things out of whack.
There's a lot of RNG in this one. There are world record holders in the race, hopefully. People that have been really practiced at this. It should be fun to watch. And this one is also a game that's going to make a major difference in the race, because you can just lose a couple of minutes really easily on this one.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and it's one of those games too where like if we see someone do it really well during the race on race day, like it's a sight to watch. It's a great game to just like see someone play really well. It's like it's almost beautiful. So, but yeah, so that's our first 5 games, and so we're through the first 5, and then we start moving on to games that might be a little bit longer. We have some any percents coming up, and so we have Trog. And Trog was an interesting one. That's an example of a game that I didn't really like know too much going into this. But it's a cool little game, like cool animations, the characters. The really important thing is that you want to be, know what's going on and see. There's like a little warp egg that you want to grab, so you got to see which egg is kind of blinking last. That's going to be super important because that's going to help you kind of get through all the stages. Because what is there? I think there's like 50 stages. Obviously, we don't want to go through them 1 through 50, one at a time. We want to be able to kind of jump forward.
Indeed. It is also kind of a puzzly game. It is also going to be one of those games that absolutely separates the players that practiced it from the ones that did not. It's a very different game, and can't wait to see how everybody tackles it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, and then we're going to go straight from Trog into Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu, which probably is going to end up being possibly the longest game in the race. And it's interesting because I feel like in previous Big 20s, it normally goes shorter goals to longer goals. And this is one where we have the any percent, and it's a longer goal, kind of like in that first half, which is a little different. But also, I feel like it gives the runners a chance to kind of like get into a game as well and start feeling good, especially when you get through this one.
Yeah. So the thing I love about Jackie Chan in this game is that it's not actually the hardest game in the world, but because it's so long, optimizing is where you're really going to get your savings. Like you might have some deaths along the ways, but really it's going to be about like who are the players that have gone through and really just made sure that they have absolutely nailed the pacing of this.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you'll see what's going to be really important too is just if you have your spin kick, a special move, you don't want to die, you don't want to like lose it, stuff like that. Like I've seen some runs where people have lost that, and it just takes them that much longer to get through stages, which can be really rough. The other thing that's cool in this game is like you don't have to jump on the logs in the water section, you just jump in the water. I don't know what the point of the logs are, but it is what it is. But yeah, so that's game 7. We're going to move on to game 8. And then this is a racing game and a race. You can't have a race without a racing game. So we're going to be doing, this is Time Trial A, Japan, 40 points. And so you can like put in different like stats to your character. And so the 40 points is what kind of determines how many points you have maxed out that you can put into different categories.
Indeed. First of our 2 racing games in this Big 20. It's what it looks like. In the spirit of the game, like a Rad Racer. It's definitely one of those games where if you did not practice it, and it can bite you. And otherwise, this one I think is going to go by really fast. A lot of our racers that have been practicing this have been whittling it down. There's some really impressive times and strategies for this. I can't wait to see how a lot of our top racers are going to just absolutely blitz this game and just destroy it.
Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. Although the one big thing is just don't have your car blow up. Don't destroy your car. If you got to take a corner a little safer, that's way more important than trying to squeeze out every single second, and especially because it's such a long race, all these goals overall. So just make sure, I would say, get to the end. Yeah, nothing can go wrong, Yogi, right? Nothing can go wrong. And so that's 8, and then we're moving on to another homebrew. And this is Space Goals, and I feel like Space Goals is one that like a lot of people have really enjoyed, and it's a fun game to play. It's a fun game to watch too. It's kind of like, it was funny until when the list came out, I was like, wait, Joust is in here twice, because you're kind of just playing a platformer Joust instead of like a top score Joust. But the movement in this game is great. It's colorful. The characters are cool looking. And basically it's just, it's pretty linear too. Like, just get to the end. It's a fun one.
Yep, it is the love child of Joust and Mega Man, in my opinion, and it is a high-quality title. The main concern that I have is just that there's just not enough of it. But, quality over quantity, and I'm going to enjoy watching our players play this because it is just a super fun game, very simple, but the execution is really going to show for those players that grinded on this. And yeah, just exciting to play, exciting to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe that means we need Space Goals 2 Electric Boogaloo, the Big 20 edition. Maybe that'll come in the future. The Big 20 Space Goals edition, or Space Goals Big 20 edition. That's what I said. And that's number 9. Then we move on to number 10, a game that is this one could definitely be a very tough one. There's going to be some people that have practiced this a lot. This is Adventure Island 3, Beat World 4. And so the biggest thing with this game is as you go, you find eggs and you can collect dinosaur friends. And one that's especially important is like the pterodactyl, especially for like the end of World 3 and then World 4. You want to be able to fly over a lot of the hazards of the stages. But ideally, there's chances where you might get hit, you might lose that dinosaur, and hopefully we've seen our runners also practice some kind of safeties and backup strats for in case anything goes wrong, because I don't think anything's going to go perfect in this game for anyone. So
I mean, you had me at Become Friends at Dinosaurs. How can you not love this game? Even though it's the only game in the list that I had predicted Adventure Island 2, it's close enough. I'm good. I'm still not salty from the selection because they did awesome choices for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, this is an absolutely super fun game. It's one of the longer ones of this, but it's absolutely worth it. If you haven't played this game, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. It is super fun, and we'll also see there's a couple different paths you could take based on warps, so it'll be interesting to see what our runners do there. And yeah, so those are our top 10. Out of those 10, like if you had to pick one game that is your favorite, and also like maybe one game that you think is going to make the biggest difference out of these 10, do you have anything that comes to mind?
Sure. Say as far as favorite game goes, I think I actually do have to go with this one. Adventure Island 3 is just one of my favorites overall. As far as the game that I think is going to make the biggest difference early on, I actually think it's going to be streamers. I might be wrong because it's actually pretty forgiving on death, but if you get into a funk in that game, it has a way of snowballing. And I think that they're going to get some, the bigger runners are going to actually run into, somebody's going to get frustrated early and it's going to snowball, and I think we're going to see some surprises on that.
I think I could see that too. That, you know, hope, you know, obviously things are going to happen. It's not going to go perfect. And hopefully anyone that does have something like that happen, they can just recover well from it. And then, you know, you got through these 10 and we're into the next set of 10. And so after our 2-minute break, so in between each game, we do a 30-second break to kind of make sure that it's even between like emulators, consoles, all that kind of stuff. During game between 10 and 11, we do a 2-minute break. Allow people maybe grab a quick, you know, drink of water, stretch real quick. You know, we're getting some of us are getting a little older. So, but after that 2-minute break, we're gonna go into Battle Tank. And Battle Tank is a game that's very different compared to a lot of the other games on the list. It's gonna be Beat Mission 3, and you're basically gonna be driving a tank, trying to find enemy tanks, and you're just taking them out as quick as possible.
Some of us are getting more than a little older, and yeah, I think that I was actually ready to practice a 2-minute break right now. I could almost use a breather. But we will keep on going. Battle Tank is, as you said, a very different game. I don't really have a whole lot to add, except that for those that didn't practice this game, I think this is also going to be a sticking point. Just understanding how the game works is half the battle. But for those players that did practice it and grind it, they're gonna destroy this game really fast.
Yeah, there's been some really quick times recently. I know I saw Laka, it was like an under 4-minute time or something on a recent full run. So if someone has a good run of this, like they can really either make up some time or put some distance in between other runners. And then we move on to game number 12, which is another homebrew. This is Chicken of the Farm, and you know, we got some best of NES veterans and celebs. We have Mitch and Link 77777. I can't say much because my name is Apollo like 222222237. We're the ones that made the game, and it's a super cute, super cool game. Great music. The music just gets kind of stuck in your head, and you're a frog that is you know, becoming the chicken of the farm, right? I think that's the lore. Is you're just the chicken of the farm. Don't ask questions. You're the chicken of the farm.
Well, I won't ask questions. Instead, I'll just say, like, I love this game. You guys did fantastic. I'm so excited to see people run this. I'm so excited to see other people discover this through the entire Big 20 process. And it's just a simple, elegant, fun platform puzzle game. And it's gonna, yeah, that music will get stuck in your head and you won't mind it too much. And yes, you do see there is a chicken, there is a farm, but getting there is, you know, it's a journey. But yeah, watching everybody play this game over the last couple of weeks and just get to it, get into it, and perfect it has just been amazing. I can't wait to see them play this game today.
Yeah, it's gonna be great for sure. It's good to see this in the race. Good to see people playing it. And then after becoming the chicken, we're moving on to a very different game compared to Chicken of the Farm, and that's Arkista's Ring. And I think the one thing about this game is like if you made a word cloud about all the discussion about this game, I feel like the one word that would show up huge and be everywhere is probably like the word stairs. I've heard stairs RNG a lot about this. But this will be a fun one, a little bit on the longer side for the goals of this game. But it's definitely a super fun kind of top-down little playthrough.
Absolutely. This definitely is a game where RNG needs to be on your side. It could make a big difference in the race. I think it will for the top players. I think this is the game that's really going to help separate some of them out. It can make as much of a difference as like maybe a minute or two, as far as what RNG can be favorable versus not. But I know that a lot of people have been practicing a lot of safety strats to try and minimize that. But it's a fantastic game. I highly recommend trying it out. And yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch and see, and we're gonna be hooting and hollering and be like, oh, whenever somebody gets bad luck or good luck.
Yeah, that's gonna be very interesting to see for sure. No, it's absolutely a great game. And speaking of great games, number 14, Lawnmower. I love Lawnmower. Great to see this in the actual race. We have 10 lawns. They get a little bit harder as you go, although some people would say lawn number 6 might be the spookiest one with all the rocks. You could go over the flowers, it's fine. Maybe we'll see some people take out from flowers just to get some anger out from maybe a previous game. But ideally, don't touch the rocks. You're gonna break your blades. The big thing about this game is as you mow the lawn, the fuel tank that spawns that you need to pick up over time only spawns in a spot that's already been mowed. So like there's going to be some optimization strategies where you don't necessarily want to mow the entire half of one side because then you're going to start having to drive back and forth. So it'll be interesting to see the kind of paths and designs that people make.
Indeed, this is absolutely a delightful game, and I have been addicted to watching it. And as a bonus, the person who gets the fastest time in this game will have an open invitation to actually take care of my yard for the rest of the year.
Oh, this is huge. That's huge. That's huge. That would be great. So this is kind of like, this is a tryout for the group. This is important for them. That's a big opportunity. It's very nice for you to do that.
It's my pleasure. I will supply the equipment, and I will definitely stay inside and stay cool while they take care of it as quickly as possible. But I do ask that they also stay out of the flowers.
Okay, nice. That is important. That's important to state beforehand. But yeah, Lawnmower is super cool. And then we go into another racing game. Again, a racing game in a race. Crazy. I know, crazy. This one's a little bit different. It's glitchless. There's a glitch in this game that kind of allows you to pause while hitting a finish line trigger on the finish line and kind of like get through the stage in like 5 seconds each by just pause, unpause, and it thinks you went through a lap. That is not allowed here. People have to play through the game. And what's going to be really important is as you drive around the course, there's going to be wrenches. You want to make sure you pick up the wrenches, and that way, I think it's 2 wrenches allow you to kind of put attribute points in. And so some people are going to be putting attribute points into things like top speed or acceleration. There's I think handling or tires too, but I think people kind of like the having lower amount of the handling because it kind of lets your car kind of the back end kind of swivel around, I think. So
yeah. One thing to note on this is that the goal is 7 tracks, but for some reason they let the programmers actually dictate the order. It starts on race 0, so what you're actually going to be watching out for is the end of level 6. And so that is a thing to be careful of, and we'll surely call that out again when the time comes.
Absolutely, for sure. And so once you get through again, you start level 0. You finish 7 tracks, which is actually level 6. We're going to move on to Dragon Warrior Randomizer. And so this is the first randomizer that's been in a Big 20. It's definitely a big step. It's a big difference. So one thing we did here is we set it up so that the goal, it's enter Charlock. But the seed, everyone kind of has... I know there's been questions throughout, watching other streams and stuff. Starting on the first day when the list was released, the seed was released, so people have been able to kind of research the seed, be able to play through it. And if you even on our Discord, if you look through the Dragon Warrior Discord channel, there's been so much found out about the seed and different strategies that people could take.
Yeah, so what's funny to me is I was so excited when I heard about this, and I still am. I'm so happy that this is in here. But you think Dragon Warrior, you think long game, you think randomizers, like, oh, everybody's got to explore. So this is actually going to end up being one of our fastest games because they have fully optimized everything. They know where every item is already. They know how to level up. And so you're going to see players destroy this really fast, especially considering all you have to do is get into Sharlock. You don't have to beat the Dragon Lord. And yeah, this is just going to be just a taste. And I kind of hope that we may actually in a future Big 20 get another seed where we get a little bit more of a taste. But I am so happy to find Dragon Warrior in this Big 20 in any form. So I will absolutely take it.
Yeah, no, it's great. And to your point, you're absolutely correct. Like, I will even say from personal opinion and experience, I don't think, I don't want to speak for everyone that was kind of choosing games and goals. I don't think we thought it was going to get this low, but people have put an insane amount of work in, and people just love this game. And so that it just shows. It really does just show. And so, yeah, so after that's done, we move on to game 17, which is Funhouse. And yeah, Funhouse is interesting. So it's two beat floor to warpless. There is a warp, I think, in stage 2-1 that hopefully everyone already kind of knows that it's there and doesn't take it. If there's some blind runners, there's a chance that they could hit that warp. And theoretically, because it's got to be warpless, it brings you, I don't remember exactly where it brings you, but that would cause you to have to kind of restart the attempt over. But this is a fun game. You're running around throwing like balls or tomatoes, and it's super fast. There's a lot of momentum as part of this game, and so we'll see people kind of running through. It's super fun to play. If you haven't played it, I would say try it out, and it's fun to watch too.
Indeed, I was a fan of the show back in the day, and as Chad is already discussing, yes, it is indeed J.D. Roth, not Tim Allen, but the resemblance is indeed uncanny. But this is a very, the controls on this are a little bit different. So for anyone that hasn't played it, hasn't tried it out, that's going to be a bit of a ramp. But for those that have been practicing, once again, this is a game that you're going to see them blitz through. We have a lot of really fast games this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is, it's going to be interesting to see what like kind of the final time ends up being. Yeah, and this is game 14. We're almost done. So we're going to game 18. And this is, there's some, I don't know if Chrissy's in here, but okay, we're actually skipping game 18. We're going straight to game 19. Game 18 doesn't matter. No. I've been waiting for this. I've been voting for Warrior Woods for forever. Wario's Woods is such a great puzzle game. And so it's rounds, game A, 20 rounds. And the biggest thing is just there's different color bombs, different color characters. You need at least 3 of the same color in a row, whether it's character, at least 1 bomb, in order to clear them. If you have, I believe it's 5 of the same color, it'll create a diamond, and the diamond could be used again with a combination of 3 of the same color in order to get rid of everything on the screen of that color. It's gonna be a fun one. It starts getting real, like, it's one of those games where you know what you want to do, and sometimes like your brain doesn't let you do it.
It's true. So this is such a unique puzzle game with the mechanics of you actually being a character inside the puzzle. It's just very different from a lot of things. Some argue that the Nintendo actually saved the best for last because this was the final game released on the Nintendo Entertainment System. But it should be absolutely interesting to watch the different strategies of players that put this together, and I can't wait to see. I think that this is going to be another divisive one.
Yeah, it will. Like, there's definitely going to be, like, you're going to be able to see who put the work into this one. And so we got 2 games left after Wario's Woods. We got 30 minutes left till the race start. So let's get through these last two games. So game number 19 is G.I. Joe, a real American hero. And so the goal for this game is to beat Mission 3, and this is a super fun game. You get to pick different characters, you have like different weapons, you have pickups, you're moving around, you're jumping super high. This is a fun one to play through.
Absolutely. I think that the thing that has made me happy about this game being in the Big 20 is just like so many people didn't know about this game. You think, rightly so, that a game based on, a cartoon, there's a good chance that these games are just meant to be not great and just sell based on the fact that it's based on a popular series. But it ends up that the team that made this game made a really fun one, and not enough people know that. And I'm excited to see everybody watch this amazing game. And I know that a lot of runners have talked about running the full game after this Big 20 is over, and I look forward to seeing a lot of those runs as well.
Yeah, that'll be cool to see like the rest of the game, because obviously we're not going through the whole thing. So yeah, hopefully this is one of those games, as are many of them here, that we'll see people continue to run after this is done. And then we move on to the end. The last game, number 20, Star Wars. And this is full game Star Wars. Our Big 20, number 16, will be ending on the Death Star blowing up, which is a very fitting end, a great end. This is a game, I was talking before, Loops, how I played it a lot. Star Wars is the game I've probably played the most, kind of leading up to the release of the list, and also leading up to just this race. It's a fun game, a lot of momentum. It is difficult, though. So this is definitely one game we talked about. Here, your best Chewbacca. No, wait, I can do R2.
Yeah.
That's a dead R2. Okay, anyway.
Okay. Well, I don't think we're worried about being DMCA'd for any of those noises.
Yes, there will be no DMCA here. And yeah, no, this is a fun one. Like, you take a lot of damage from projectiles, from enemies. When the game was released, the list was released, we were like, don't make this the last game you practice. Hopefully people took that to mind and put some time into this one. It will be tough, and honestly, there's a chance that this game could be the difference between who wins, who loses. There could be time made up. A mistake made could be dire for a runner. So
absolutely, this is a very difficult game. If you go in blind, it's also really easy to get lost. There's a lot of things you just might not know about. A lot of players, because especially since a lot of players will be generally tracking where others are at, I see some people that are behind just a little bit taking risks on this, like maybe taking one or two less shields, taking those risks, because then suddenly like the asteroid belt gets a little harder and you're taking that risk. I'm really curious to see what players try and do if they're trying to catch up and make difference, and it could, like you said, absolutely make the difference, a good or bad. And it should make for a very exciting finish. Hopefully you've seen this little indie film that it's based on, so that you understand about what's going on and about where the players are. And if not, then I do recommend that maybe you give it a watch after this. It's a cute little movie. Might have heard of it.
Yeah, cute. You're right. It is a cute little movie. It's the cult classic, kind of one of those underground hits that like people don't really know about. So, but yeah, so that's our 20 games. This is the Big 20, number 16. These are all games that have never been in the Big 20 before. Again, there's some homebrews. There's a rando, so there's a lot of different chances taken with this list. But from what I heard, the people who are joining in and who've been watching, I've been like watching a lot of different streams. I've been able to follow a lot of people that I didn't follow before, retro runners. I think people have been enjoying it, and so that's good to hear. Hopefully everyone has a fun time today. It's gonna be a great race. I want to also say thanks to, we have some of our Best of NES staff. You got Overswarm, JKL, Mother Brain. We have Lack. They've been putting like Lack Attack, JKL, Overswarm, the whole team. They were putting so much time into like the games and figuring out what games work well for the lists, making sure we can put this event together. I also want to thank Looking for Giants, been helping out a lot. DH, thank you for coming and joining me. Hopefully we're going to hear you in a little bit. We're going to try maybe doing kind of a sideline reporter thing for off-screen stuff that happens during the race. We're going to have a couple celebs in for commentary as well, and we got 25 minutes. But I hope, like I said, thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping in and talking about the games, and I hope you enjoyed today too.
Absolutely, can't wait for this. I look forward to popping in here and there. We've got 35 entrants already,
That's nice.
and the 25 minutes to go. With some people I know haven't joined yet. I wasn't sure if we were actually going to get 40. I'm now pretty confident that we're going to reach that mark, and we might get closer to 50. It should be a really exciting race, and yeah, let's do this. Big 2016 is go.
Yeah, it is time to go. I see a few people talking about like issues with like logging in and stuff. There's join the Discord. I think there's probably a lot of talk in the Discord about like getting into the race room, how to get into the race room. We're gonna do as much as we can to make sure everyone's like ready to go. We're not gonna just start the race if there's like issues and stuff like that. So definitely jump in. We'll try to help out how we can. And it's gonna be a good one. I think we're gonna go. I'm gonna put it back onto kind of the countdown screen, and we're gonna start getting set up for the actual race. So DH Dom, I will talk to you later, and then everyone in chat, you'll be hearing from me in a little bit as well.
Sounds great. Let's do it. And everybody, make sure that you get your snacks and use the bathroom. Get ready, and we're gonna do this.
See ya, see ya. Hello, hello, hello. It is race time. It is race time. We are ready to go. We're getting set. We're getting everyone readied up in race time. So it's just going to be just a tiny bit longer. We're getting set up now, and so it is me. I am Apollo, and I have my good friend Hard Made Easy, formerly known as the Cove, here to help out. Um, and welcome to the race. And how you doing today? I'm excited for this. Hope you are too.
Doing great. How are you?
Doing great. We had a nice little pre-show, as you noticed too on the commentary at the bottom. DH Stom is going to be coming in. We're doing like a little sideline reporter thing. We're going to try it out and see how it is. And there's because we can only watch like the six kind of races going on the screen right now. There's a lot of stuff that happens off screen, and so hopefully Stom's gonna be able to help out with that as well. But how's chat? Chat, how you doing? Is everyone ready? You guys ready? And I did. I think he was pretty quiet. I did pick him up a little bit. So um, it's funny. I think Gyromite doesn't have like a like an audio, so we're just like sitting in silence,
Just
which
gonna
is
be
funny.
dead silent.
Yeah, it's just dead silent, and that's gonna start playing. But yeah, I hope everyone's excited for today. We have 46 racers, which is amazing. We have some great, as you can see in the starting six right now. We have Overswarm, Lack Attack, Arcus, Psytown, Bright Shadow, Nest Cardinality. Also, let's see. I think Nest C is playing on a lot of the OG carts, so gonna be some swapping for that. Just making sure things look good here. Yeah, looking for giants is also going to be helping out in the background for, and feel free to type in chat. Someone's doing well. You can free to feel free to say what's exciting, what's going on. Okay, we have an audio issue. Okay, checking out an audio issue quick. We're just making sure everyone's kind of readying up now. So how looking at this list of games, um, what's something that you're excited to see today here, Hard Made Easy?
I mean, obviously, lawnmower. Lawnmower is awesome. I'm interested to see what everyone does for the Dragon Warrior randomizer because I feel like there's a lot of different kind of strategies you can take for that or paths you can take for that. Obviously,
Yeah.
Star Wars is a decent ending game because it's definitely got some difficulty to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, there goes Overswarm. Who will get the worst RNG in Dragon War? It's gonna be a good one. It's there's some games at the beginning too that are really gonna you're gonna be able to see who put the work in for some of the beginning games as well, which it'll be fun to see. Yeah, we have a few people just still setting up. I think we have a couple more not ready yet. We're just making sure everyone's ready to go. We don't want to start the race without the full squad, all the racers ready to go. So, yeah, put in chat who are you cheering for today? Type the names. Who are you here to see? We're here to see everyone. And I hope as you see, if you see someone that you've never been able to catch their stream before, like give them a follow. It'll be a good time. Yeah, see, there we go. Spam. CK with the spam. Team Apollo, I saw that. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, watching everyone. That's the real thing. Like, obviously people are putting some time in trying to get a really good finishing the games. But just like learning the games and being able to do this, no matter how long it takes, that's like, it's a feat. This is not easy to do. And so the fact that like so many people have joined, so many people join every time, like it's great. It's always a great time. And just being able to, see the practices leading up to the race, see the strategies, see some world records, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and this one of the two each year is usually all new games, and so it's that much more difficult, I think, to learn 20 relatively obscure games or lesser known games versus the popular viewers' choice ones that we usually see in the fall.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and honestly, I was saying this in the pre-show, but as much as the popular games have, they're popular games for a reason. They're great games. They're true. They're tested. Like those are good games, good runs. A race like this is super interesting to me to just see like the new games. It's great. It's awesome. Oh, we begun. We begun. I didn't even see. There we go. We got the noise going. Okay. So like I said, we have some good racing going on, and actually it would help if my buddy here could see the race as well. Let's see. So this is Gyromite's going to be 10 phases. I have so many windows open to try and share. There we go. Okay. Now we're good to go. So we're expecting the winning time to be around 3 hours. And it's going to be a good time. But do you know much about Gyromite? I think the characters there's a cool thing about the ROM that we're using for this race. Normally you would have to use 2 controllers, but there's actually kind of a special edition that we're using here.
Yeah, this was made by, I think, Jabu back, gosh, almost a decade ago, and lets you use it just with 1 controller, which, yeah, makes it much easier in a race like this.
Yeah, so the
those of you,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for those of you who haven't seen Gyromite, the goal of each level is to pick up all of the dynamite. You'll also see them grabbing some radishes. You can feed the radishes to the Smicks, which are the enemies, and they'll kind of forget about you for a little bit if you do that. You can also raise and lower the blue and I don't know if they're red or orange pipes as well.
We see people in the chat talking about the audio. We're fixing it. We're fixing it. We're getting it. It was hard when we were sitting on a silent Gyromite screen. So, I mean, it's not a big 20 without at least a little bit of, some BB tech. So,
I mean, we'll fix it at least in the next 3 hours. Promise.
Yeah. Within the next 3 hours. But yeah, it looks like everyone's moving through pretty quickly already through this so far. Yeah, we are very, very live. Yeah. I mean, even these early games, like I see some people talking about, like even these games that only are going to take like 5 minutes or so, like optimizing something like this is super important. Just being able to see what needs to be done and just like squeaking out those extra seconds before moving on to the next game.
Yeah, I think Streamers is certainly going to be one where we see some difference in strategies and ability. That is one of the more technical games of the beginning.
Yeah, it looks like there's some sync action going on right now too. Look, if you look at Arcus and Lack, they're like right. They're both in the same exact spot.
Yep, and Nestcard is right behind them.
Audio-wise, we have actually, this is Lax audio is playing. We'll be swapping it as we're gonna kind of bring in people in and out as we go. We're gonna try and keep making, the people in the top positions are gonna stay on for most of it, but we're gonna be swapping a lot of these screens around and swapping some audio around too. And yeah, so we got, what was it? It was 46 racers, I believe. So this is a great, especially for like a new game list. This is a good group, and it's gonna be a tough race.
Yeah, I'm happily surprised by the number of people that joined. That is a really big number for the spring race.
It is a really big number. And as far as like the positions, it's very hard to say right now who's in first. So basically, we gotta let it play out for a few games, then we'll start to know what's going on. But I do know like I know Bright Shadow had really good Gyromite times. Overswarm lacked it as well. Sci-Town had some really good times, so it'll be interesting to see, you know, how these runners do, even just in this group of 6.
We're getting towards the end. I believe everyone's on phase 9 now.
Yeah,
Or most people are on phase 9. Yeah.
There's not much. I mean, you're just kind of climbing up and down. You got a little squishing action going on.
Yes, Lucas. This was one of 2 games that were officially built for the ROB.
Okay, yeah, and we got phase 10, so this is the last phase. A lot of them are starting on phase 10. And so after we move through phase 10, we're gonna change it up a little bit with streamers, but let's see how we got phase 10 going. Yeah, picking up that radish. We got the Koopas over there eating some radishes. We actually did a little research too before about like what is the dynamite for that we're kind of collecting. I don't know if anyone knows. It's just mystery dynamite. If anyone, if anyone has any ideas what mystery dynamite is for, feel free. Feel free.
I mean, they are doctors, so I can only imagine they're going to put it into someone's body for some reason.
Yes, good point. Good point. And it looks like Overswarm was the first one to move on. Lack Attack right behind. And we're going to be starting with Streamers, which we talked about before is one of the homebrew games in this race, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's a super fun game. There is no jump, but you have a like grappling hook that you use to move around vertically. It has some really, really unique controls and is actually very, very difficult to do fast. You can see all those light bulbs or shiny yellow things. Those will kill you on hit, so you definitely don't want to be touching those. But essentially, you are going to be using the grappling hook to pull yourself up to various platforms and to get around enemies. And a lot of times you're essentially just juggling your character in the sky by grabbing many different places one after another. You'll see those little, I don't know what to call those, but those little holograms that you can touch, and then there's a blinking person there that appears. Those are checkpoints, so if you do die, you will start there when you die. Let's see what else is there for this. Some of the screens, when you have a gap at the top, if there are blocks on the bottom of the screen above it, you can actually grab those from the screen below. I think a lot of times that's actually not the fastest way to do things, but it's still possible.
Yeah, I think one thing that's really interesting with this game too is like it's one of those games that, if there is a mistake, if there is a mess up or a death, you kind of get put right back to the same spot really quickly. So there's going to be some risky strats that you'll see some runners do, with the idea that like, even if it doesn't work out, I can be right back in that same spot again super quick. Yeah, the big thing, the flame room is a tough one, and so I think that's what people were kind of practicing the most. So, and yeah, as some people in chat mentioned, this is like, yeah, it's like a Bionic Commando sort of game. It's a cool. I mean, that's a well-known game, and this is takes it almost to the next level.
Another kind of basic thing, but it does technically save time. The doors, you definitely don't need to go all the way to the middle. You can just kind of barely be over the side of the door and be able to press up and get inside. There are quite a few doors in this, so that does actually save a non-trivial amount of time over a whole run. This is one of the games that I find a hard time keeping track of 6 different people.
Yeah, there's just so much. There's so much going on. Yeah, it looks like Arcus is blowing through the game right now. And you hear there's again another tough spot. You hear a few deaths from Black occurring, but again he's right there, gets right back through.
Yeah, if you have the checkpoints, like dying is not a big deal in this game, and oftentimes you will have quite a few deaths. Overswarm actually just finished.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to Joust.
Yeah, he had a really solid playthrough of Streamers there.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna see if so for Joust, one thing we're gonna be looking for, so it's 100,000 points. Which ideally I think Overswarm's gonna be looking to do that by around like wave 14, 15. There is a scenario that the point spread doesn't get hit before you lose your lives. And due to that, there's also a backup kind of winning condition of 20 waves total. This Joust was a game that was like super spooky for a lot of people when they were first learning it. I think as a group, everyone's gotten a lot better at it. You know, the controls are a little rough at times, but it was definitely something that people had to put some time in to definitely get better. And it's just one of those games where like your character has to be above the other character in order to kill the enemy bird.
Yeah, I actually thought when the games were announced that this would be the mock rider of this Big 20. But yeah, it seems like a lot of the racers learned it pretty easily.
And it looks like Ness C is also on Joust as well. He's very he has been a Joust player for a long time, so it'll be interesting to see if you know what his optimization is and what he was able to catch up a little bit.
You will notice at the start of most of these waves, they will be hovering or centered over one of the spawn points, because if any of them spawn directly below you, you can just kind of flap your wings once and you'll get an easy quick kill. So it's a way to kind of knock out, hopefully, a good number of the birds that spawn each level.
And it's looking like got Sidetown and Bright Shadow making their way through Streamers as well. And Joust is bit, you know, we got to get those eggs. Getting those eggs. Love the music in Joust. Yeah, isn't it? It's beautiful. It's just the sound, the soothing sounds of your adorable commentary team. So as you notice, like every 5 waves, if you see on Lack Attack screen right now, there's an egg wave, and so it drops a bunch of points that you're able to pick up, and so you'll see a lot of the runners, you know, kind of walk their character in a way that kind of throws them against the walls, that gives them momentum, and they can just kind of slide through and get the eggs as they go.
Yeah, I think momentum is definitely the key in learning how to keep it. I think a lot of people, when they start playing this game, they want to like change directions, and like whatever direction they're going, oftentimes they want to change that. I think it's a lot easier to just go with the momentum, and if you want to change directions, kind of just smash into something and you will change directions.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, you're gonna change directions when you smash into that. So
yeah, so it's just easier to play with the physics than try to go against it for sure.
Yeah, and you'll notice too, some of the runners, they'll kind of throw their character to the very top of the screen, because in a similar way we say when you smash yourself against a wall, if you go up against the ceiling, they'll kind of like catapult you down to the ground. And you can go like right on top of enemies.
Yeah, we are almost at a tie. You can look at the scores on this one. Essentially, like Apollo said, most likely for our top runners, it's going to be the first to 100,000, not wave 20. And so, looks like Lack has taken a brief lead right now.
Yes. It's going to depend on these tougher waves, how they handle some of the... as you notice, there'll be a pterodactyl, or as it's called in the manual, the pteropactyl. Will come for you, and it's very difficult to kill that enemy. You basically have to be like super even with its beak. So most runners are just going to really avoid it. And then the other thing you'll see is there's other characters that have kind of like a white jouster, and they're a little bit tougher. They fly a little bit faster.
Yeah, my guess is just OS probably had a lot of eggs that went in the lava, and Lack's been able to pick them all up. I'm not sure how Lack caught up so quickly.
Yeah, that must have been it. Because if you don't consecutive collect those eggs, you don't earn the 500 into 750 into 1,000 points. If that egg gets in the lava, you're starting back at the original, what I think 250. You see now, like Lack is picking up 1,000 per egg. He's at about 95,000 right now. Yeah, 7 lives. It looks like Overswarm actually only has 2 lives left, so he probably wasted some time with some lives too, whereas Lack has a full 7. So he's been playing this super well. It looks like also Nest Cardinality also has passed Overswarm on Joust, and Lack Attack is the first in 2 Zexes. And now as we start going into the next few games, we're gonna start moving in some other runners too. So try to see who we can sneak in here, so we can watch how some other people are doing.
Yep, and if you're just joining, usually what we'll do is have the top 3 or so on the top half of the screen over time, and then we'll start cycling through people on the bottom half so that we can get more people in throughout the race. It's obviously, with this many racers, it's near impossible to get everyone onto the stream at some point, but we are doing our best to get as many as we can on the stream at some point. So Zexes is kind of half platformer, half shmup, and the goal is essentially to save a princess, but we won't get quite that far. We are just beating the first 3 areas, which I think is... Man, it's only about a quarter of the game, I think. I think there's like 12 areas. But we're just going through. The first part was just to get into a castle area. In the castle area, Lack found this nice little mech, and now we're into a shmup scene. You're going to see S power-ups and P power-ups. The S will make the mech faster, and the P will power up the weapon. Oh, OS did game over on Joust. Apollo, is that a full game over in start, or do you get to keep your points?
In Joust, so it's a full game over. You don't get to keep your points, but that is the 20 wave condition is part of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
99,000. We missed that for sure.
Okay. Looks like chat sounds like he died on wave 14.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been right at the area that you would be hoping to end.
Yep, so Lack's through the first boss. That one you just have to kind of hit him on the top half in his forehead. Oh, we also forgot to mention the most important part of this game. The main character is named Apollo.
Let's go! That's the important thing. That's the only thing that matters with this game. Other than it being cool.
You'll also notice some of the drops that appear when you're in the side-scroller platforming stages. There will be ease. That's actually money or the currency in the game, and you do need to get some of the money to be able to to hop in the ships. I think it costs 20 energy. But yeah, there's also tons of different rooms with shops. There are people that will sell you hints for the money if you're playing casually. And you probably would need those because you need to find force stars in every odd area of the game. And so you find one in the first stage just by going to a random wall and shooting it 5 times, and it opens up a door. And so most likely you're not going to be doing that if you're playing the game casually.
Yeah, so it looks like on the bottom area too, we see that Serendipity is on Zexus, and we're also going to be bringing.
It's a tough one to say.
It is a tough one to say. And then we'll also be bringing in Asmati Games too, who is looking to finish up Joust.
Yep, so it looks like Lack is making his way on 3-1. He may have just died. Yeah, Lack is definitely on the last level, not necessarily the last area, but he's on level 3, which is the goal for this, is to beat the 3rd level. Wow, talk about some near equal pacings between Lack and Nescard. It does look like Nescard just got ahead of Lack here because of that death.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, just ahead. Yeah, so we have another kind of Gradius type area where you're in your vehicle, kind of a little side scroller, auto scroller, shoot 'em up, which is pretty cool. It's cool. The variety in this game is really nice.
Yeah, it definitely is. I had not seen this game before the reveal, and it definitely seems like a nice little mix of game types.
Yeah, I would definitely say, if you haven't tried the game, definitely go play. It's a cool one. Plus you get to play as Apollo, which everyone's dream scenario. So.
Osnin, Nescard is always like, Apollo, I appreciate your courage. So this boss here is going to do like a figure 8 move on Nescard Nality's screen. And you just got to keep not being hit by the spikes and the eyeballs that get thrown out. But it's the same pattern. The attacks, the eyeballs, I think, are a little different. They're not quite on the same pattern as everything else, but not too terribly difficult once you're used to it. There's also some safety strats where you can pause and lose a little bit of time, but it'll help you avoid the eyeball shots.
And again, it looks like Lack just finished up that little boss. Thank you, Apollo. Right after Nessie, and so Nessie looks to be moving onto loops. And so this is going to be interesting too, because I would say like Nest Carnally is very good at loops, and so is Lax. So this is going to be super close and a super interesting one to see.
This actually might be the one game out of the entire list that I think I would enjoy the most, which that I didn't know about at all, like before the list. Like I didn't know this game existed, but it looks really frustrating, but also a lot of fun.
Oh, it is super fun. It's a real good time, and it really makes your makes your brain work a little bit. So what you're gonna see on each of their sides is you start off with some of the smaller pieces first. You get like the small 1-tile corners, the small 1-tile like straight lines. Then it starts bringing out the 3-tile straight lines, the 3-tile corners, and then once you get closer to like that 10 loop spot, you start getting more of the big U's, the big S pieces. It's when those Tetris S pieces come in. That's gonna be interesting to see what the runners are gonna do. Some just throw them away. Some make sure to put them in a spot that's gonna be helpful. The biggest thing is if you make 3 mistakes, as far as if you don't place your 3 pieces, as you see, there's a white bar near the bottom. That runs out, you kind of lose a life, and you have 3 lives. And so looking right now, it looks like Nessie is kind of using the top left and bottom left corner, putting some of those straight lines in the middle that'll probably be used for like S's. Whereas I think Alak a lot of times is just like, I don't want to lose time kind of specifically putting pieces in spots, like I'm just going to make it work.
Yeah, and one safety on this, I believe, is if you game over, you get to keep the number of loops that you've created. So if you create 15 loops and then you run out of lives, you only need 10 when you start again.
Yeah, actually, it does look like got an interesting placement on Lack's screen. I'm sure he'll see what he does. Maybe put some like longer straight lines to kind of alleviate that. And one thing that we might not see with some of the better loops runners is it seems like as you start filling up your screen, they'll give you a circle piece. It's like it almost kind of looks like a drain or something. And you can actually choose a loop that's not completed and remove those pieces from the board. But I think that doesn't really occur until you're like really starting to struggle and the game's like, I'm going to throw you a bone.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the games, though, that I think the individual strats for the types of loops that people like making, this has like some of the biggest diversity out of the whole race, I think. You see so many different strats by different people.
It looks like they're at right now 11 to 11 loops.
Nice. Apollo, I think we might be ready for our first sideline report.
Okay. Let's do it. We got the loops going on. And as we're going through loops and Lack and Nessie is going, I'm going to bring DH Stom back in. Stom, what's up? What's going on?
Hey, just wanted to try and see if this is coming in clear because I have 46 streams open. So can you hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
We definitely got you loud and clear. I had to make you a little less loud and clear, so we definitely hear you.
Oh, awesome. All right. So I'm happy to report that everyone has cleared Gyromite at this point of all of our racers. But we still have several that are stuck on streamers. Everybody else seems to have been moved on to at least Joust, if not Zexies, and it looks like we've got 8 players on loops right now.
Awesome. Has there been something that you've seen? Has there been a big mistake by someone that either you weren't expecting, or someone doing maybe even better than what our practice might have thought? Anything out of the ordinary yet, or there's still time to see?
There's still time. I'd say right now, the thing that stands out to me is there's a couple of racers that we didn't have on our sheets that are doing quite well. Narblast is one of our players that's already on loops, as is, let's see here, Ferret Dippity. We've got on Scream has gone on to loops as well. So it's already an exciting race. We've got a lot of people that are in this heavy RNG game that you've got going on screen. Otherwise, admittedly, it's been so busy, and I've been trying to deal with so much behind the scenes. It's been hard to say. Like, I haven't really been able to watch a whole lot of screens besides, like, okay, what game is everyone on? So,
yeah.
I'm looking forward actually to watching the replay of this later, where I can actually get a good view of the entire action.
Yeah, I think one thing too is like with these shorter games, it's hard to kind of know what's going on, who's in what place. As we start getting to those later games where they get a little longer, it becomes a little more obvious, and as the games go on, like the crowd kind of spreads out. So we'll probably be able to call on you again in a little bit and probably get more info on where everyone is and what's going on kind of off screen.
Indeed. 2 more names I want to throw out there that to keep an eye on because they are doing well right now. One is X-Christine. She is already past Zexus and into loops as well. And another is Worldwide Nuking. I'm not very familiar with them, but they are also already on 2 loops.
Nice.
Okay, that is awesome to hear. And actually, like as soon it looks like I think Sasha is also that we just put on the screen is done with Joust currently moving on to Zexus. So it seems like everyone's moving along.
Indeed, and I think it's about time for me to disappear into the background again. I will pop in later, but yeah, this is going quite well, and you guys are doing a great job. Hope everybody's having fun.
Yeah, thank you, Stom, and talk to you soon.
On the plus side, I guess he doesn't have to have his heat working today if his computer's got 46 streams up. His PC's got to be going at a pretty high temp.
Oh man, that's got to be crazy. I hope it. Yeah, that's got to be something. That's a lot to pay attention to. But it just shows, between looking for giants and Stom, and we have other people in the background too. That there's a lot of work that goes into this. It's a fun time. But as I'm saying that, both Nessie and Lack are into Trog right now.
Yeah, Trog's a cool game. So Trogs are actually the enemies. Those Cyclop cavemen dudes. Those are the Trogs. You will see. Pay attention when the level starts. If you look towards the bottom right, there will be an egg down there that starts shining at the start of the level. The goal of each level is to grab all the eggs. And if you grab the egg that shines at the beginning of the level last, it will actually open up the ability to warp ahead a little bit. And so you don't need to quite go linearly through the levels. If you don't grab that one last, there will just be an exit you need to go through.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, and I think theoretically too, this is a game where if you buff your inputs from the very beginning and everything is frame perfect, you can kind of manipulate where everything's going to be. But as the game gets longer, that just becomes not really a thing that you can expect at least some of the runners to do.
Yep, and you'll see some runners punching a lot of the Trogs. You can definitely first stun them if you punch them once, but if you keep punching them, they'll go away. But then there are other people that try to have strategies where you don't need to do that because it slows you down a bit. Just depends on the amount of risk you're willing to take.
And I actually do want to point out too, it looks like Overswarm is on 22 loops. Arcus is on 23 loops. Ferrodipity is on 17. It looks like Arcus has a lot more loops that he's just waiting for a certain piece. He's able to close. That's 24. Overswarm definitely has a lot more going on his screen, but with 2 more loops, I think he's just making sure that the pieces that are tough get him out of the way and focus on what he needs to close the last 2 loops.
Yeah, those S's or the bigger S's are always the really difficult ones to get towards the end there.
He wants either the L corner or a tiny corner, and there's one. He's just a couple more, and then I'm sure he'll be happy to have loops be done.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what your board looks like as long as you get those 25.
Yeah, that's all that matters. He needs one more corner. There is 25.
There.
He's out. So now we have Overswarm and Arcus have joined Lack and Ness Cardinality on Trog. Game number 6.
Yep. So there are 50 levels on Trog. You'll probably end up seeing people play roughly 20 of them with all of the time warps, I think they're called.
Yes. That is what they are. There's cool. I don't know how much you've seen some of the game. The animations in Trog are great. Like even some of like the death animations, and they're brutal. Like there's scenarios where like your character just kind of gets eaten, and it's like, wow, that was wild.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of the livelihood of all of these Trogs is they are trying to eat you because they need to live and have food. Not great for you, but yeah, the animation of you turning into essentially a rib cage is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't see too many rib cages today.
No, that's a not for today thing. Let's hope it all goes well for all our runners involved. Yeah, no, it's a crazy animation, so yeah, we're hopping. The hopper. We got Nessie and Lack on the hopper level. Bloop, excellent.
Yeah, Bloop is the name of the Triceratops. If you do grab a pineapple, I don't know if anyone's grabbed one yet. I haven't seen it. You turn in. Oh, Lack is doing it right now. You turn into a T-Rex and you can then eat everything. Thank you, Lack, for doing that on cue.
It's like he knew. Okay, I think we're gonna be swapping some more people in as well. It looks like we have a lot of our runners are on Trog currently, which is great. It means we're getting through those 5. I feel like Loops is definitely a game that between Joust and Loops, a lot of the crowd is gonna be like, I'm those are fun games, but I'm glad I'm through them and moving on.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like looking at the first few games, those are the two that I think people are like, ugh, let's just be done with them. Yeah, but as we go through Trog, you'll start to see the Trogs have additional weapons besides hopping, as you can just see. I think Nescard was just hopped on. They can have clubs. They start putting down fire. I don't know if it's oil or if it's a hole, but they have different attacks that they get over time. Tar Pit would definitely be in line with the theme. We can go with that, Cordova.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, and so we are bringing on to the stream now Blunt Money, who is also on Trog. We're gonna check in how they're doing. Yeah, I think Scytown is a great Trog runner. Who has I'm not sure who has the current world record right now, but I know definitely that the Trog playthrough has been hot.
Antlers has the world record right now.
Okay.
At a 10:46.
Yeah, it looks like it sounds like we have some talk in the background that there's a good about 10 plus runners on Trog. So as of right now, this is still like a super close race. Obviously we have, we probably have another 2 hours worth of games to go. But it seems like everyone's doing great so far.
I could just be forgetting, but has Blunt Bunny done a Big 20 recently? I don't remember him doing one.
So
he's an incredibly good Link to the Past runner.
Yeah, the name is familiar for sure. I think so because I feel like I followed them maybe around last Big 20 time. But first Big 20 race, okay, cool.
Yeah, like I hadn't ever really seen him doing a lot of Big 20 or NES speedrunning. I've just known him for mostly Link to the Past, but yep. It's good to see him here. Okay, let's look at the levels here. It looks like Lack is ahead. He's on level 32. S-Card's on 29. You got Arcus on 27. OS is probably going to 27, yeah. And then we got Blunt Bunny and Ferret just behind.
Yep. Yeah, Pac-Man with eggs and caveman. Yeah, that's fair. Pretty close.
But, I mean, we have 4 people within, I think, 2 levels of each other on Trog, so,
Yeah, so
still a very, very close race.
Super close race, and I've also just been informed that we have 16 people are playing Trog right now. So
Wow. That's awesome to see that many people through loops without too much trouble.
yep. That is a lot of Trog. A lot of Trog.
One thing we haven't mentioned, but I did just see it, one of the Trogs ran off the screen. If you do go off the screen, you do fall into the water, both the enemies or the player. Not good if it's the player, fine if it's the Trogs.
Yeah. And we're actually gonna be bringing in some pup action too. A veteran of Big 20 races.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see Pup again. I do remember when DH said that a lot of people, there were a few people still on streamers, or a lot of people still on streamers. I imagine streamers will be one of the tough blind games for those that are doing it blind.
Yeah, I think that does make sense.
Although something like the Zezix, what were those called? The 4 stars you need to grab and find the secret rooms to get into them. Those will take a very long time, and you'll need to buy a bunch of hints to find them and stuff. So that could also be rough.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked like Blunt Bunny's screen went down on my end for a second, but just had to refresh the window. I was hoping it wasn't a something on their end. That would have been unfortunate. Okay, so we got what? It looks like Black, Wave 40. We have Arcus 39. Nessie's at 35 right now. I think OS looks to be at 39 as well.
Yeah, he's gonna jump ahead though. He got the warp in 39. I don't think Black
so
did.
No, it looks like he didn't.
And the bonus stages are rough just because you gotta wait out the time. Granted, a lot of the levels will take 30 seconds anyway, so it's not really that out of the ordinary, but still sucks to just have to sit around and do nothing.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Yeah, and it does look like that. Yeah, Overswarm has taken the lead. Considering how Joust went, he was able to kind of claw back, and I think this just shows the type of race this might be. Where I feel this is not going to be the last lead change.
I hope not. That'd be pretty boring.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it though, like looking at the times, looking at the practice, like Overswarm, Lack, Arcus, Nescard, they were the top 4 runners, I think, time-wise. Nescardinality was he wasn't keeping his times on the tracker, so it's tough to tell, but just knowing all of the games that he's played and like that he knows very well a few of the games on the list already before we started, like he has to be up there. Some people are asking about the 30-second break. We want to make sure that if you're playing on cartridge, on emulator, like no matter what, that it's fair, that everyone has nobody has an advantage rather. And so we've instituted a 30-second swap for between every game, and then halfway through we do a 2-minute swap just so people can go take a bathroom break, etc. We want it to be about your gaming prowess, not your prowess to hold your bladder in or other things. So
Yeah, how quick can you switch your carts, or how quick can you switch your emulator stuff?
Yep, so OS is essentially done with Trog. He's just got to sit around for 25 to 30 seconds here for the timer to run out. I would like to, if anyone knows this, let me know. But I think the arcade version of this wasn't timed. This was the last level, and you would just kill as many of them as you can before you get overwhelmed. Is that true? I want to say I read that somewhere, but I didn't have time to go validate it. Okay, I'm hearing it correct. Yeah, so that was kind of the shtick on the arcade version, you know, because you never really beat an arcade game usually. That was the way to just, well, you killed 7,000 trucks this time on level 50.
So yeah, so right now Overswarm officially, it looks like officially in first in Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu currently. We mentioned kind of on the pre-show bit of this that this is going to be one of the longer playthroughs of a goal, and it's interesting that normally that lies later onto the list. It's interesting having maybe a bit of a longer goal in the early games. You know, I think it's good to spread it out a little bit, and also you'll get the feel of the game instead of when you're swapping away from a game so quick, you like just get into it and it's gone. With Jackie Chan, we're gonna see the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about the length. I think this is almost 5 minutes faster, or slower rather, than the second slowest goal or the second longest goal. So it's definitely going to be our longest game by a good margin for most of our players.
The important thing for this is you're going to see is right now you see like Overswarm, he has a special ability that allows kind of like a somersault in the air. And so the runners are going to be using that. There's also kind of like a roundhouse kick that's going to be used too as part of the run. The biggest thing about this is you're trying to get your attacks in as you're moving. You don't want to stop moving, right? There are some auto-scroller stages, and then there's a few climbs in this, as you can see as the kind of the roundhouse kick now. I love the climbing stages in Jackie Chan. I just love climbing stages in games. So it would be you know, when done right, they look awesome.
I always look at this stage with the platforms that move to the side, and I'm like, yeah, that's totally an original like idea. No other games have ever had something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it does look like Sci-Town is on Jackie Chan.
Yeah, we're gonna be bringing up Sci-Town onto the mainstream.
Yeah, so backstory on this is Jackie apparently has a twin sister in the video game. Pretty sure he doesn't in real life, but his twin sister Josephine is captured. You gotta go save her, kill the evil sorcerer who kidnapped her. There is a 99 continue code that you can use on this, but I don't think most of at least our top runners shouldn't be using that at all.
Yeah, well, also too, I think you have to die first to be able to put it in. And I do see a question in chat about as well, like codes. There are some games that you can't use like a password to move forward. No forward progress in the game for you NFL fans. But if you've reached the level and kind of game over, you are able to use, a password to get back where you were. Only earned passwords from as you played. That's kind of been like a normal thing that we've done.
You're saying that all passwords need to be laterals behind
Yes.
the line of scrimmage.
Yes,
Okay.
behind the line of scrimmage.
But yeah, I mean, this race, yes, it is about showcasing, you know, who is amazing at speedrunning, who can learn games in a really short period of time. But at the end of the day, we want it to be as accessible as possible. We would like people to be able to come in and with minimal amounts of practice, still be able to complete it. So we try to include everything we can that won't provide a direct advantage.
Yeah, it was. We were swapping in, so we have swapped in Sidetown now, who is on Jackie Chan, and so this is. I mean, Sidetown. I mean, is a really good runner. Was in our original 6 here too as well, because just as someone who's been practicing a lot, is really good at the beginning of games and the end games. Have really good times in the time tracker. Doing really well right now.
Yeah, I think Sidetown was 4th on the cumulative sum of best for the people who are racing, according to the tracker. So you see people on this vertical climbing section that Sidetown and OS are on. They keep jumping. These blocks will fall if you... They'll slowly crumble if you just sit there on them. One thing you'll see in this game, there's a bunch of bells that appear at certain parts. They actually bring you to bonus stages, and there's a lot of chat in the Discord about how people would be like, "Oh, let's just go pick this up." Like it's you see something drop, or you see an item, and you're like, oh, "I need to grab that." Well, there's almost no reason why, if you have a good time on this, that you would ever want to grab one. So we'll oftentimes see those, but if any of our racers pick them up, it's probably a mistake.
Yeah, it sounds like we have a bunch of runners starting to also hit Jackie Chan too, so this is still super close, and a lot finishing up Trog as we speak.
I don't know. This has nothing to do with the video game, but I did hear just recently, probably in the last week or two, that so Jackie Chan, he has a son, and apparently he's not leaving any of his $400 million fortune to his son. He's donating it all. And he says, well, if I've taught my son anything, he'll be able to make his own money. And if I haven't, then he doesn't deserve to get it.
Oh man, that's rough.
Just kind of shows you some of the work ethic that this guy's had over the decades for everything he's done. That is rough, though.
Oh, I think of all of Jackie Chan's work throughout the years, this must be the peak of his career. Is if we had a chance to ask Jackie Chan, I'm sure he would say Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
It could, it could certainly be for other reasons. I didn't hear the rationale. I'm sure there are very good reasons, but. The story that I had seen, that was the message. So that's what I was going on. Yeah, in the water stage, they do have rafts, like little rafts that you can kind of stay and float on, but it's a lot easier to just jump in the water. Yeah. Or not even easier, it's a lot faster to just sit in the water.
Yeah, kind of funny. Like, why are they even there in the first place? Okay, so we do have Worldwide now on screen, the bottom left, on Trog, close to the end.
I mean, knowing games though, I imagine they actually intended you to just sit on them, but they just didn't think to really test if it's much faster to go in the water.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, everyone's just gonna go on the logs. That makes sense, right? I mean... I'm starting to feel like Stom soon. As we're pulling in more runners to the race, I have more screens open. Oh, we're actually too. As Jackie Chan is one of the longer games. Like I said, there's a lot of people on Trog, a lot of people on Jackie Chan in the background. So we're gonna bring in, DH Stom, and we're gonna see what's going on in the background again. Hello. What is up, Stom? What's going on? What's the news?
Oh, well, we've got an amazing, exciting race, as you're all saying. You see 6 runners on screen. I am happy to report we have 15 runners already in Jackie Chan. This is, admittedly, like, for the games that we have and the fact that these are all new, I'm shocked and pleased. 16 now are keeping this tight a race. It's really exciting to see this many players have actually practiced to this level. I'm also going to throw out some players that really need to feel your love right now. I think that we have 3 blind runners in Brother Kyle 88, Infinite Mystery, and Random 64, who have joined this race. And as you would expect, Streamers is a very difficult blind game, and they are all going for that one still right now. So that's kind of its own race going on to see who of those 3 is actually going to finish up first.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like, we can even talk about some of the stuff that goes on in the background when, like, setting up these races and stuff, and trying to think of who we're going to show on screen, how best to, like, swap as many people in, because we want to show as many people as possible. There's been races in the past where it's been, like, real easy to know, like, what position everyone's in, and you can kind of get them in and out and hot swap them. This race right now is crazy. There are so many people that are just like, I want to say the word literally, even if it's maybe not. It's literally tied. So this has been awesome so far.
Yeah, and with this many racers on games that are not as familiar, and the amount of tightness is, I gotta give a shout out to Looking for Giants. I usually track these solo, and with 2 of us, it has been going so smoothly, and they are a huge part of that.
Yeah, and as again, we've had some help in the background. We did bring in Worldwide on Jackie Chan, Gray Skull on Jackie Chan. There's so much Jackie Chan action going on right now. It's great.
Yeah, we are already up to 17 players now on Jackie Chan, 18 on Trog. That's the majority of our racers. So yeah, it looks like one of our 3. I don't know who was it. Somebody finally made it out of Streamers. It is. I didn't see who it is yet.
Well, either way, it's good that we only got 2 left on Streamers. That's
Yeah.
It's good that one of them made it out.
It might have also been a misclick. So apologies to everyone getting excited. I was excited. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we got a Jackie Chan marathon going on right now. I mean, Twitch Prime has the watch parties. We got the Jackie Chan watch party going on. Grab the popcorn, like you said.
Yeah. So it's one of those fun things where, like, I'm not flipping through tabs. I have it all up on a multi-Twitch. I will post a picture of it publicly somewhere. It's pretty crazy. My roommates are not happy with the lack of bandwidth that they're getting right now, but I told them it's all for the cause.
All for the cause.
And then reminded them, that I pay. But yeah, it's all fun. And I can't wait to see who gets past Jackie Chan and pulls up to Al Unser, because you're going to go from one of the longest games to one of the shortest. Do not blink.
Yeah, DH question. How big is your monitor?
Which one?
Well,
So I've got an ultra wide, like it's like 36 inch or something like that, and you'd think like, oh wow, that's perfect for the streams. Actually, that's where I have Discord up. I have the feed up for this stream, and I have our tracking, and then I have a second one that is a high definition 32-inch monitor that has literally 45 streams all in one window.
nice.
And it's so nice that the staff of Best of Ness, I'm sure, have agreed to compensate me for this equipment, in this setup. Making sure that we can track everything, right?
I'm gonna make the executive decision to double your pay right now. So congrats.
Yes. All right. Public contract. Everybody's heard it.
But thank you, Stom. Keep at it. We'll be pulling you in again in the future, and let's see who's the first to get out of Jackie Chan.
Indeed. Have fun, everybody. 20 players now on Jackie Chan. 21. Literally updating as we speak. A lot of Jackie Chan going on, as I'm sure will be for quite a while.
Yeah, so giving it a quick look, we got Overswarm. He's getting close to the end. We got the auto scroller action going on. Worldwide is climbing right now. Grayskull's in the water level that we were talking about, where you can kind of just let it pull you through. But looking good, looking like a tight race. Total runners. So yeah, we'll go through. I think it was 40. I think 45 total, because we have just like one race monitor in there. So yeah, 45 people playing these 20 goals that you see on the right side of the screen. And it's been awesome so far.
We could see up to 900 games getting beat today.
Quick math. I like it.
I saw some other quick math in the chat with that 2 times 0 equals 0.
That's round of applause for there. Put your claps in the chat for that. There we go. The boss fight that Grayskull just went through, like the kind of the flying frog, it always freaks me out a little bit. It just looks weird. I'm glad he got rid of it.
OS is getting towards the end. You can see these dragons that he's fighting. I think he just finished the last one. Nope, there's some more. You can kind of set up, and as long as you time the hits right, you should be able to kill them no problem, even being within their hitbox. But if you mistime it, you will take some damage for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we mentioned the actual way to get items in this game is by killing frogs.
Yeah, you're right. We did not mention that. Yeah, the frogs kind of sit there, wait for you to get there, and you're able to kick them or punch them, and they spit out items. Kind of interesting. And then you ride on turtles too for most of it. A lot of helpful wildlife in the game.
Yeah, OS is on the penultimate boss. You can see the riveting wait, jump and kick, wait, jump and kick.
Yeah, and now OS now has no more roundhouses, but was able to kind of throw those Hadouken or the Kamehameha waves, whatever you want to call them.
And now on to the final boss. So this cloud that you're on, it will actually follow you, so you don't really need to worry about that at all. This boss is dangerous. Can do a lot of damage, but our better runners shouldn't have much of an issue with it. And OS is through.
Yeah, through to the racing game, or one of the two.
Yeah, I was going to say the first of the racing game.
Should be a little quicker than Jackie Chan, that's for sure.
So what was the thinking around the 40 points? Was it just to give a little bit of like variability for how people might want to build their car?
Yeah, there was discussions when the game was being chosen about like, you know, how many points we actually want to have people put in. 40 was kind of the middle ground of what the group was thinking about, and it was, yes, to give people the ability to maybe throw some points in different places to each other, change it up a bit. And I do like goals and scenarios like this in Big 20s where people can kind of choose what's comfy to them, maybe what's the most optimized, maybe what takes more of a risk. And so yeah, that's how the 40 number was settled on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic. Anytime we can get some variability just by player choice, I think is a good thing. Because like you said, sometimes people will pick safety. Sometimes in the rare situation, sometimes there are 2 or 3 different choices that are almost the exact same speed. And so you end up being able to have very different routing or different configurations, but still have very interesting results.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the biggest thing is when we talk about safeties, the most important part about this game is your durability. And you just want, you know, you can only take so many hits depending on your points with your car as far as hitting another driver or like hitting the signs on the side of the road. If there's a scenario where you take too much damage, you may have to do the race over. So the main thing is just finish the race.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I mean, this would certainly not be the end of the world if this is the game you would have to redo, because our top times are sitting under 3 minutes, but you obviously don't want to need to do this over again.
Yeah, for sure. If you can just like, you know, get through this in the one attempt, you can kind of go through. And then, you know, while we're on this game for just a couple more minutes, I'll give a shout out. I'm a huge F1 head right now. I know this is IndyCar, the game itself, but I've been loving some racing lately. I don't know if there's other racing fans in chat. And speaking of a racing fan, looks like Lack Attack is a racing fan. He finished Jackie Chan and is now on. Oh, actually, Sci-Town and Lack Attack are both on L Unsers. Trog was where time was made up by Overswarm after falling behind on Joust. So now Lack and Sci-Town and the rest of the group have to catch up to Overswarm in literally a racing game.
Yeah, and OS he's almost done. So seems like he's almost this entire game ahead.
Yeah, F1 it's been taken over. And yeah, Overswarm he's through. That's it. In the race, out of the race, baseball time.
Space Gulls is a really cool game.
It is a very good game. And before we start talking about Space Goals, I do want to announce that we do Random64, one of our blind racers, is out of streamers. Out of streamers into Joust. Let's go.
Hey, congrats.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Space Goals. Anything? I mean, this is a really cute game. Like I love the animations. It's so colorful. It's pretty straightforward. Where as you see the bird, basically the Joust character, as the gull is moving through, you're gonna see either open pathways or you're gonna see kind of locked doors. And normally what occurs is when you see that locked door, you just need to kind of clear the room of certain enemies. And so for the most part, it's just optimizing, jumping on their head. Some take 2 hits, some take more than 2 hits. Yeah, just getting through to get past those locked doors. And it's fairly, for the run, it's fairly linear. And along the way, you'll see OS just jumped on one right there. There are these big red save buttons. That if you die, that's kind of the checkpoint that you set. You're going to see most runners hit them because you're really not losing much time. You're mostly flying by them anyway. But there are scenarios where there are 1 or 2 save points that a runner may skip because they just feel like they don't need to take those extra couple seconds to go get it. Yeah, Flappy Metroid. That's a good name for it.
You did also see there was a little egg on the ground. If you grab an egg, it will give you your life back. Like Apollo said with the doors, you see that one that OS just cleared has skulls on it. Those means you need to kill all the enemies. There are some with locks on them as well. There will be keys later that you need to grab to get those to go away.
Yeah, I see a lot of chat talk about first place and positions and stuff, and I think it is really big to notice that. If you look at our timer, we're an hour and 10 in. A lot of the full runs that some people have been doing were just under 3 hours, some just over 3 hours. So there's a lot of time for things to just go wrong. This is a marathon. Like the typical marathon kind of race statement is that's never happened before. And all it takes is one of those, and all of a sudden we have a different story as far as who's in first, who's in second, who's in third, etc. It looks like Lack and Psytown are like right next to each other. They've been that whole race. They were kind of in sync.
Are you sure you have 2 different streams up?
Yes, I had to look because I was like, wait a minute, maybe I don't. Look at it. I gotta watch it. There.
It is almost exactly synced.
Oh man. Oh, this is cool. Okay, it looks like we have some other racers getting onto Elensur Turbo Racing, so we're gonna be swapping some people in again. As we see our top group right now going through Space Goals.
Even with the simple mechanics of this game, there are a lot of the enemies are fairly difficult to kill quickly, and so you will see a decent amount of variability in times here.
Yeah, now we have a section where you start to get some start to pick up some keys, and the enemies start to get a little bit more difficult. As you see Overstorm 2 walking kind of through some of those spikes, grabbing the big. You see the eggs, and those are kind of big and small health pickups, kind of like a Mega Man situation.
We did just have NES Cardinality boot up Adventure Island 3 instead of Space Gulls.
I mean, that's if we're talking any percent. That was any percent Space Gulls right there.
Yeah, so he took a little bit of a hit there. But thankfully, he did notice, whether chat was screaming at him or something, I don't know. But good that he noticed.
Okay, so we do have Fire Broth, who's now in the bottom left of your screen. Fire Broth is on Space Gulls as well right now, so sticking close to these leaders here.
Yeah, good to see Fire Broth doing well. He is definitely a Big 20 veteran. He's been doing a lot of these over the years.
Yeah, always does very well, too.
Yeah, he had to be probably around that 5th or 6th in total sum of best.
Yep.
Of everyone. The room that Overstorm's on right now, it just takes so long to kill the 6 of those.
And we have brought back Bright Shadow as well. Also on Space Gulls. Right near Fire Broth, it looks like.
Yeah, very close.
So yeah, Overswarm's getting near the end. That's what he picked up, hit the save point, also picked up the health going into here. This is a little bit of a boss fight where you just want to avoid taking damage from the cannons and the hoppers while you're just kind of going on top of the little the windshield of the spaceship. Taking some damage there, but that is why he picked up some health. Yeah, safety is important considering he already took 2 hits. 3 hits. Hopping, almost done. Avoiding some of those bullets. And there's the win for Overswarm for Space Goals. Thanks for playing! So yeah, we'll be moving on to Adventure Island 3. Again, this is Beat World 4. This is going to be, it's a tough one for sure. And again, you know, best laid plans can always, you know, of mice and men. As much as someone has practiced Adventure Island 3, it is super easy to have a small mistake happen and you have to completely change how you're getting through a level or levels. I'm also checking out, looks like Lack, Psytown, Nest Cardinality. We're also getting through Space Goals. Lack and Psytown are still super close. Yeah, we're seeing, as far as position-wise, we're not 100% sure. It looks like Overswarm is in the lead, and then maybe Lack and Psytown in fighting for 2nd and 3rd. But we have a lot of racers on Space Goals, so it's still super close. And so as we go, we're swapping in people as we go. Yeah, so as you see now, Overswarm. So as you go through the game, there's eggs you can collect. Basically, these dinosaur friends. And so we're keeping it classy with Overswarm right now. You get kind of the shiny Lapras. Class C is able to go through the water really quickly. There's also a red and a blue dino that will be used, as well as a pterodactyl and a green dino that spins. And so all these dino friends are used to kind of get through the levels. They do different things. Like I said, the green one, Poli, he's able to spin around. You may see him on the World 1 boss fight, do some boss damage. But as you go and collect the animals, you use them to get to different spots. One really important thing, too, is that there's different paths to take. So you'll see times where the runners will stop and like either grab an egg in order to kind of trigger a warp to go on. That allows you to kind of go to a different area as opposed to going straight to the next spot. Honestly, through practice, we saw that taking the warp areas aren't the biggest time difference. But they're still important to optimize for sure. But you can go, it is still safe. A runner can go the other way if they feel more comfy with that side. And as I mentioned here, you'll see this is the boss where Overswarm's going to be spinning on Poli the dinosaur, trying to avoid those shots, and is able to take out that boss.
Easy peasy. We do have Lack also finishing up Space Gulls. He had a really good Space Gulls run. And Psytown is just finishing up as well, it looks like.
As you saw, Lack just went into the skip in the lava. He's able to get to a different area, and then he's also grabbing Classy. then another thing too, Overswarm, similar. He stopped, grabbed this egg, and it brought him to the kind of the ceiling. It was able to grab some extra dinosaurs. Okay, Nest C on the boss of Space Skulls. See how he handles it.
Looks like he handles it well.
Not surprised.
I was willing to get Jinx there at the beginning of the fight. It looked so good. I just assumed he was going to finish it well, and he did. We haven't had any commentator curses yet. I figured we might as well get something in before the end of the day.
We need to make it spicy. Yeah, Overswarm is doing great right now. Just amazing. Yeah, someone did mention the inventory of Adventure Island 3. It's true. So as you go and you pick up weapons and dinosaurs, you can kind of like in between stages choose what you want to bring into the next stage. And worst case scenario, if you do, if you die, you can actually still use whatever you've collected previously. And even on a game over, you can continue and you'll keep what you had and had not used to that point. So anything that you use will be gone. But if there's some things you still saved up, you can still go into after continuing with maybe some nice items if you stocked up.
Yep, so we're up to a lot of people cruising through Adventure Island 3 now. Bright Shadow just finishing up Space Skulls. Haven't seen too many troubles yet on Adventure Island 3. Black just getting the warp there. Yep, everyone needs to run all 20 games in the correct order. You can't just do the tough or easy ones first or last. You got to do them in order with everyone else. Makes it a lot easier as well, just on people watching to know where people are. Two-minute break is halfway through, so that would be what? I think after Adventure Island 3, yes? Apollo?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, we will have before Battle Tank, we will be having runners have to take a 2-minute break and stretch, maybe use the restroom real quick, grab some water, whatever they would like.
Commentators do not get a 2-minute break. It's okay. I promise, we are way less stressed than the runners. Well, maybe I am. Apollo's also restreaming, so maybe he is a little more stressed, but...
Nah, it's going well. So far I haven't had, There hasn't been a giant. Talk about commentators curse. There hasn't been a giant technical issue yet.
Oh, we
So,
should not say that.
Yeah. So. So yeah, we brought in Rojo. Also, Twitch name is Garbage Speedwalker onto the bottom of your screen. Yeah, I know. Quiet. Whatever. If something happens, it's my fault. Okay. If something happens, it's because I said that, and then everyone can make fun of me.
No, so I'm actually fine with that question in chat. Somebody asked why was the game selection so bad. So part of the Big 20 is we're now 16 of these in. In almost all of these, we have picked 20 games that have not been in the previous one. So when you're 300 NES games in, a lot of times you don't have the best quality overall. Like, that's just a given. And everyone going into this knows that there are going to be some games that are really fun, and there are going to be some games that are just awful to play. But that's what we're at this point, and everyone just buys into that, and we all rally around it and have fun with it.
Yeah, and speaking as far as like, you got those popular games, we actually do. So this is the Spring Big 20. And that's where some of these more, like, the less popular games or, like, the less known games get run. And then we have kind of, like, a best of Big 20. It's, like, the People's Choice. We've done 2 People's Choices so far. And so, theoretically, if there's another Big 20, we could be possibly looking at that. We've done it in the past where it's kind of a list that is not just with the Best of NES team kind of curating it, but also, like, the viewers, the runners, friends in our community. Voting on what games and having some of those bigger name games that maybe you'd be used to seeing in some other events.
If that's how you want to think about it, Fat Man, then sure. But no, I mean, a lot of people really enjoy seeing new games. Like, a lot of times we might have games that have 3 to 5 runners on leaderboards. And those 3 to 5 runners are thrilled to see their game going to be practiced by 50 to 100 people and eventually raced by 30 to 70 people. And second, we end up filling that leaderboard out from 3 people up to about 20 or 30 or 40 by the time the race goes. So it also provides a lot of benefit to the speedrunning community as a whole, I think.
Yeah, it's a fun time for sure. And actually, I personally I was saying in the pre-show too, that I like these lists better than I've seen Mario 100 times. Let me see what the heck is a space goal.
Okay, we don't need to get aggressive towards anyone in chat. It's okay.
Yeah, there's been I guess you could probably comment on this too, but I'll go. Like, my favorite list was Big 20 number 6 was the first speedrun thing I ever did. And it was like all Famicom games that like I've basically never seen before. And it was really cool, and multiple of those games I've ran afterwards and even had like GDQ runs of. So that's or like other marathons. So I do like being able to find these new games. Like, there's a lot of really knowledgeable people in this community. I'm surprised every day. People know so much about games.
That was the first Big 20 that I ever watched, was Big 26. And yeah, that list was incredible. I had just gotten into speedrunning. Like, I kid you not, the week before. And I saw that and I was like, yeah, I want to do one of these.
Oh yeah, we could talk about Battletank too. So Overswarm's fighting some tanks right now.
Oh, I didn't even see he finished.
The 2-minute break went through, done and through already.
Yeah, so there is a little bit of new tech in here. It's kind of like Blaster Master, where you can pause and do tons of damage while paused. I don't know how to do the tech, but you can do an incredible amount of damage in a very short period of time on this. And I think that was just discovered during the practice over these last 5 weeks or so.
Yeah, there's been a lot, definitely a lot new and figured out with it.
It's 2 minutes, Anti-Binky. Yep, so there is a Super Nintendo race. It's called the, what is it, Super 16?
Yes.
Yeah, not done by this group, but done by another awesome group of retro people.
Okay, with Overstorm looking like he's getting through Battle Tank, Lack, and some of the other runners, Sidetown getting through Adventure Island. We're actually going to bring in DH Stom for a quick off-screen update to see how the rest of the group and people who aren't on screen doing. And then we're also going to have a little helper commentator. A celeb might be coming in a minute too. So we'll bring in DH Stom and let's see what's going on. Stom, hello, welcome back. What's it looking like out there?
Oh, it is looking good. I've got some good news. Overswarm, as you see, stands alone right now as the sole racer on Battle Tank on the second half of our games, but we have 16 players in Adventure Island 3. Still have quite a few racers in Jackie Chan, as you would imagine, it being a longer game. I am also pleased as punch to report that one of our 3 blind runners has finally defeated Streamer's Random 64 and has not only done that, they've also completed Joust and on to Xerxes. Even passing, I've got some unfortunate news. Fed PG, I don't know if anyone's been able to get a hold of them, but they don't seem to understand the alternate goals for Joust and have been stuck trying to get to 100,000 points. So if anyone can get a hold of them, tell them they can move on at this point, because they've been playing Joust for like an hour and a half.
Oh man, Fed's done a lot of big 20s too.
Yep. Yeah, Fed's a great runner.
It's unfortunate to see, and hopefully they're able to recover from this. But yeah, there's a ton of racers all in the same area, all the way from Jackie Chan to Adventure Island 3. The field is starting to definitely separate out, but yeah, like I think that the majority of our players are gonna finish well before 4 hours.
That is awesome to hear.
That will be very awesome to hear. What is there one more? Is there a game now as we start getting into this back half of the list? Is there a specific game that you're going to be interested in seeing how some of the either the front end or the back end runners deal with?
Yes, there's a couple of them. Obviously, there's just a sprint of them right in a row. Right after Battle Tank is Chicken to the Farm, and we all know that the randomization and the choices you make there and the rocks can make a big difference. Arkista's Ring is after that, and that is a huge amount of randomness in that game, a lot that you don't have any control over. And then after that, I'm sorry, I said check into the farm, and then I started talking about rocks. That's because I was excited about Lawnmower. I got confused for a second there. All 3 of those in a row are fantastic games, and I think all of them are going to hopefully see some lead changes, a lot of back and forth, and it should be fun to watch.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. Again, as always, thank you, DH Stomp. Thank you, Look for Giants. Thank you for chat, for helping out, see where everyone is as well. And again, I'm sure we'll be hearing from you soon.
Absolutely. But, I think that you should hear from somebody who knows a lot more about Big 20 than I do. I hope we can find somebody that might be able to help bring some wisdom beyond what I can to commentary. You think you could find somebody like that?
I'm not sure. Let's think about it. We might be able to bring someone in. I would like to introduce an additional commentator for this back half of the race. Yogi the Monk, what's going on?
Hello.
Hey, Yogi.
How have things been? Have you been enjoying the race?
Oh, it's really good. Had some really exciting stuff earlier. Overswarm had a huge setback and it joust and then just dunked everyone at Trog and made it all back, which was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was gonna say he got mad and then he decided to turn it on.
But now we're on Chicken of the Farm. This is a game I know quite well. I ran this game, and I was second until this Big 20. Now I'm like fourth after Lack and Overswim. But one good thing to know about Chicken of the Farm is, first of all, the movement is very tricky to get a feel for. It takes quite a while. Because as you're walking around, it's not like a normal platformer where you're walking. It's you have these little hops. Every time you move, you're hopping. And aside from that, if you jump out while you're hopping, you get a little bit of extra height. And if that's frame perfect, that's like if you jump at the very peak of a hop. I know that's probably confusing, but you get like a super jump, and then you get like a pixel or 2 extra height, and that. There's a ton of places in the game where that can save time, but for this race, most of them are not worth going for, because if you're not like super good at doing super jumps, then you're just going to lose time because you're just going to fail the super jump and have to retry it, and you're just losing time. But there's a couple okay places to try it where you don't lose that much.
And shout out to 2 retro community celebs who actually made this game. Link Sevens, 7777, who has done plenty of Big 20s himself. And then one of my buddies, Mitch, 3A, who I got to know many, many years ago in the Metroid community. But they made this game.
Yep,
Yeah.
this is a homebrew, and you can, if you want it, it's easy enough to find. You just Google Chicken of the Farm NES, and you'll find it right away. And it's free, and yeah, it's a pretty fun little game. Of course, the object in each level, you have to loot all the keys, and that opens a portal, and then you jump through the portal to go to the next level. There's various routes, and you can also screen wrap. So like here, you grab the key on the left on Overswim screen, and you screen wrap through to the right side key. You've got a little tongue attack. You can defeat enemies. This jump here, he's taking a little extra time on because you can bonk your head on the ceiling and just fall all the way down back to the bottom. And these little gaps in the level that Overswim's on are pretty pixel perfect to jump through. So he's doing a good job there. Decides to skip that one. And same thing going back down. Like you have to be very precise to fall through these gaps.
Yeah, it seemed, watching a lot of practice, seemed like that was one of the points of frustration on this game for sure, is just being able to get through there.
Tongue attack is pretty versatile. It can destroy enemies. It can destroy projectiles. Potential super jump here, but I don't think Overstorm will go for it. Yeah, he just takes the safe, consistent route. I think this is why those guys have a faster time than me now, is because I went for a bunch of super jumps and missed them, and they just take the consistent fast strat. Yeah, you run into that a lot where, like, unless you're really good at the super jumps, they're just not worth going for. You've got these platforms that are disappearing in this level that Overswim's on, but I think they still exist. You can still land on them, even if they're invisible.
Is there a reason you'd want to go over there for a lot of them?
Not really, not too much. In most cases, a super jump solves the problem. I think he's trying to super jump around the left corner here rather than like zigzag left, all the way left and all the way right every time. Yeah, he's definitely hitting some super jumps here. If you see a jump being missed like by a pixel or two, it was probably just a super jump that was tried for and not hit.
You know, was the super jump an intended mechanic?
Yeah, there's they're running any percent right now, which is just beat the 5 worlds and the final boss. But there's a hundo where you have to collect these little rabbits, and to get those you need super jumps like pretty much everywhere. Hundo is very, very hard. It's extremely hard to run hundo. Only for like the obsessive completionist types. But this level Overstorm Zone is I call it the Metroid level because it's kind of like the Metroid Escape.
Yeah, exactly.
This one, again, super jumps can come in handy here to skip some of the zigzagging from left all the way right. But it looks like he's just taking the zigzag path. On to World 5 for Overswarm.
There's
And which is the final boss. There's iframes, so mashing doesn't necessarily help because you can only really do damage when the chicken goes white. When it goes blue, it's pretty much invincible. And there we go.
Just looks wrong when you fight him from behind.
Just like that. Overswarm moves on to Arkista's Ring. So the story of this game is there's a shogun that is like, I'm gonna steal the treasure of the elves, and then he steals their ring. And like a mirror, like whatever their treasure is, he steals all of it. And this one elf named Christine goes and says, I'm gonna go get our treasures back, and here she is. So the object of most stages is to kill I wasn't really clear if it was killing a certain number of enemies or certain enemies, but I think it's just a number of enemies. And then once that happens, a key spawns. You loot the key, and then you can exit the level through the door. Also, random drops are very important in this. Looks like Overswarm. You see the inventory in the lower left of Overswarm's screen. He's got a potion. You can just use that to gain all your health. He just used it, regained all his health. He had 0 hearts left, and it just refills you all the way back up. But there's also other things like fire ones, which are really good, and they pierce objects. Like a screen clear item that zaps the whole screen, and bow upgrades that make your just auto attack stronger. Now I did notice the other day I was watching Firebroth play this, and he got destroyed by bow drop RNG. Like, he never got a bow upgrade, and then by the end of the game he was not able to beat it. So
oh no.
That could be an issue for someone. It seems very rare that happens, but it did happen yesterday.
So some of the items will also give you item slots, not items.
Yeah, yeah.
Up to what, 7 item slots?
Yeah, there's more bag space. Looks like Overswarm just touched that temple right there to refill health. And there is bag space, and there is equipment, but the equipment just adds more, like another heart each. Like if you get the helmet, you'll just have 6 hearts instead of 5 or whatnot. But yeah, these random drops are very important, as there are certain levels where it's very beneficial to get the fire rod and just shoot through walls and just kill everything through the walls. Otherwise you have to take a long walk to go kill everything. Another important factor, which I think happens later, is there's certain levels with multiple stairs, and all of them except one are fake. So you have to kind of guess.
Yeah, that one's rough.
You have to kind of guess, which stair is the real one. which I did mess around with this a little bit for like RNG manip purposes to see if it was possible, and I couldn't find anything. Also, it's a pain to do so because the first level where that happens is like room 22 or something. So, but I don't think there's RNG manip of any sort in this where you can like know what stairs is correct. Yep, Overswarm sitting on 2 fire runs.
Looks like Lack is finishing up Chicken of the Farm. He's opened up a bit of a lead. I want to say NES Cardinality is probably about 3 or 4 minutes behind Lack now.
In the goal of our kick.
Grizzly, I mean, we're over halfway through, but I mean, we've got plenty of time left. There's, for a 5-minute lead or so, there's definitely time to lose it.
Yeah, in certain levels, the stairs are different. Not in every level. It's like Overswarm. I'm gonna pop a fire rod on this level to take out the enemies quickly.
I do want to point out quick, as we seem to be fairly confident that we have right now in the top row on your screen, you have Overswarm, Lack, and NES Cardinality as first, second, third currently. There are some others also on Chicken of the Farm, but we brought in Pristine's on the bottom. We got BTS, and I don't know if it's Immune or Immune A 138. So we're checking in on how their playthroughs are going as well.
Overswarm inventory is looking pretty nice right now.
It looks stacked. He just got another one. He's got 5.
He's got 5 fire rods, 7 bag slots, a whole bunch of just armor. I would be pretty happy with that right now, I think. Black also looking pretty good with 3 fire rods.
4 fire rods really early on. Wow.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the biggest important items to get.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of discretion to just whatever your least favorite rooms are, or ones that would help from being able to use it. You can just blow them if you get that many.
I'm not completely sure if like a fire rod can make up for a lack of bow upgrades or whatnot at the end, but maybe. I think it feels like the fire rod is just very strong by itself. I think it can just kill like the beefy bosses or whatnot. There's these hidden pathways. Then you have to. The trees look a little different, and you just push into them. It opens it up. They're always fixed. It's not random or anything. You just know the way.
Yeah, the first time I saw that, I was like, "Man, how do they know where they're going?" And then I actually noticed they're different sprites. NES Cardinality finishing up Chicken of the Farm. So he will be, I think, our third person to start Arkista's Ring.
Chicken of the Farm, I play on words, something to do with I don't know exactly, but Chinese, there's a bunch of frogs in the field or something, and you can eat them like chicken, I guess. But yeah, fun fact. I have never eaten a frog, however.
Same here. I never had frog legs.
Yep, the devs for Chicken of the Farm are Link7777 and Mitch3A. Download it now. It's free.
I think that's one of the best parts about putting homebrews in a Big 20 too. It just gets so many more eyes on the games where then they would normally get.
Yeah, for sure. It's really awesome that, you know, people are still making NES games in the current era.
Yeah, I mean, I know as a retro lover, I'm very appreciative that people are still doing that.
Overswarm and Lack just kind of cruising with their 8 fire rods, and Escarnality has about 20 fire rods. Everybody's getting fire rods. I think everybody's having a good time here.
I mean, honestly, if it's going to be a super heavy RNG game, I would rather have everyone just get incredible good luck.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one of the most frustrating parts of this race, is being in a game with heavy RNG and you just get the worst RNG.
Yeah, no fire rods, no bow upgrades, and then all of a sudden you've lost 15 minutes because you have to start over. Which just feels really bad. After you've prepped for, 5 weeks.
Oh, I missed it. Did Overswarm just get to the staircase room? Oh no, he's here right now.
I think it's 22. This one Overswarm's in right now. I don't think I've ever seen them. There's that freebie stairs on the 3rd column. I don't think that one has ever been the real stairs, but I don't know if it can be or not. But I've never seen anyone actually hit that stairs and have it be the real one.
Yeah, this is the room that can just waste so much time if you get bad luck. And not bad for
Ooh,
OS.
pretty good,
It goes
yeah.
4th stairs. I think that 2nd column has 2 sets of stairs, but
I don't actually know what that red item is on the right for Overswarm. I want to say it's a ninja stunner, but that's half guess. Like it stuns the ninjas. But that's only from what I read out of the manual. Ah, yeah. Chat says, yeah. That is correct. Good guess, Yogi. Good guess.
yeah, that won't, if I recall right, that won't appear until towards the later part of the game either.
Yeah, that's what happened to Firebroth the other day. He reached the end, didn't have bow upgrades, didn't have any of the stun items, and then the ninjas just swarm you, and you can't really do anything about it until they just take away all your lives. Lack and NASCAR building up some nice inventory. They all look pretty comfy.
We've also brought Boohender and Coconut 85 onto stream.
Yeah, I think this battle tank tech is fairly recent, and it's like Blaster Master, just the pausing, but it's a little bit more precise, I think, and I'm pretty sure it's just frame perfect. Like you just have to pause on a certain frame, and then if it's doing damage on that frame, then it just does infinite damage until it dies. But it's frame perfect, but you get a lot of chances. Like if you miss it, then you try again. You know, you miss it and you try it again. But as soon as Overswarm did that battle tank tech, he instantly PB'd with like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes it's really neat getting or discovering new tech in the middle of one of the race periods.
That is the end of Archistas for Overswarm. We kind of missed it because most of the levels look exactly the same to me, but
Yeah, they do.
but that was the end, and we're on to Lawnmower. This is a really fun one. It's a homebrew. The object is you're a lawnmower, and you have to cut all the grass, and you've got this fuel at the top that counts down, and eventually you have to go pick up some gas to refill it back up. And if you run out of fuel, you have to restart the level. And other things can make your fuel run out super fast, like running over flowers, rocks, etc. Here's some flowers for Overswarm, and yep, the object is to cut all the grass on the level.
Looks like Lack got really bad RNG on one of the stairs.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he had to go. It was one of them where they are pretty far apart, and he had to go to pretty much the last one. I do think. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, Lawnmower might be one of the absolute most hyped games that finally got into this. Like, people went crazy on the reveal when it was revealed.
Lawnmower it's great. It's a great time. Everyone should mow some lawns.
It's really fast paced. Like you have to be very focused and always be thinking very fastly. If fastly is even a word, which it's not.
And I think too with Lawnmower, I think that there are some people that would say that Lawnmower might be like the best game to have like a blind race of. So it's always a fun time to watch those.
One thing, the gas has to spawn in a place that has already been cut, so that can add some strategy. Although I think the most of the lawns have been like pretty much optimized by the past runners of this game, you know. So no need to reinvent the wheel too much when you can just copy what they do. Another thing is, if you were a god, you could hold start on power on and just fully manip it, but you would have to hit like 500 like 4-frame windows. But it is technically possible.
I mean, if it's possible.
If you wanted to fully manip it, but the full manip would manip where the gas would spawn. You can at least manip some levels.
Yeah, it looks like Overswarm is like, you know, once you get to the second half of the lawns, like Lawn 6 really kicks it up a notch. And he like got through there with barely any problem, and Lawn 7 too, he's doing super efficiently. So he's feeling it in Lawnmower. Feeling it.
It is possible to not hold the B button, and the Lawnmower will move much slower if you want to like play safe and get through like a little turn or something. If it's like vital to not run into a rock or something, you could let go of the speed up for a second. But I don't know that the top runners will ever do that.
No, it's basically a one button press.
Famous internet celebrity Jimmy Poopins created or tried to make a Lawnmower AI to learn how to play this, and unfortunately, Hankbot never defeated Lon 1.
Hey, I mean, it's a hard game, okay?
Forever doomed to drive around Lon 1 and not know where the gas is.
What a tragic story. Yeah, lawn 10 now for Overswarm. Still going great.
And Lack also on the end of Arkista's. And he's going to join OS on Lawnmower.
Now we got the nice pipe, some lawnmower sounds. The beautiful sounds of mowing.
Well done, as they are on Lawnmower for approximately 6 seconds together, and then OS moves on to Super Sprint. But we've had some questions about the audio. So a lot of people keep their alert noises, their voice, etc. on. We know that Lack's audio is safe, so we've been keeping it there for this race as long as he's towards the top.
Moving on to the second racing game of the list. Super Sprint. 7 tracks starting on level 0, so 0 through 6. This is a racing game that even I can be okay at. Racing is my worst genre, but look how fast the yellow car is. You're controlling the yellow car, first of all, and look how fast it is. It's like 3 times faster than the AI. Like, how can you lose?
Yeah, no, as long as, like, you know, nothing can go wrong in it, right? Nothing can go wrong. And we will point out, too, that this is a game that's 7 tracks, but it starts at level 0. So we actually need them to get to level 6, which is actually level 7. So, there you go.
And it does have some decent, like, path tracking. You can't just, on the level that Overswarm's on, you can't just take the top half of the track over and over again. It won't actually progress you. And naturally, there's tornadoes because, I mean, come on, you're in a racing game. Why wouldn't there be tornadoes to move you off the path?
Unlike RC Pro-Am, where the AI cheats like mad, this AI is very slow and doesn't really do anything. Now, you can collect these little wrenches, and you can use the wrenches to buy power-ups, accelerate, you know, your usual racing power-ups, acceleration, max speed, traction, all that. I think somebody said in Discord that having more than 1 point in acceleration is actually worse, as it makes you start the track slower for some reason. But I don't know how big of a difference all those power-ups actually do, because I didn't really notice all too much difference after getting them. Like, you're still just 3 times faster than anyone.
Yeah, but then you might be 3.1 times faster.
Acceleration 3 is glitched out, says Yellsrink.
Does seem like we have finally started to see some separation. Like, OS is reasonably ahead of Lack, and Lack is reasonably ahead of everyone else. And so, seems like it took whatever that ends up being, 13 to 14 games, but we have seen some separation finally.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show like how much time the runners have put into these games, and it's just after the the 5 weeks how well they all know the different scenarios, the variables, and kind of how to act on them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of two things. It's how good are you at every game at your best, and how consistent are you? So how safe do you need to play it on race day?
And just like that, Overswarm almost through.
Yep.
Super sprint.
Looks like he's been picking up a lot of wrenches. You need I think it's 2 wrenches per level, and he's been throwing them all into a nice explosion right there. Throwing them all into some top speed, so super helpful, especially with some of these longer straightaways.
Of all the tracks, only this one could be a little tricky, but that was only because I only played through it one time, and the first 6 tracks were fairly straightforward, even if it's your first time, and then this one was a little tricky. But these guys should have no problem.
Even getting owned by a tornado, he still lapped most people.
Moving on to Dragon Warrior Rando. This one is potentially pretty short, and there's a lot to talk about. First, let's clear up the most common question from the chat. Did they know this seed in advance, or is it a random seed? It's a fixed seed that they got 5 weeks ago, and everybody's playing the same seed, and all the info on it is known. The first thing is your name matters in terms of what stats you get. Looks like Overswarm going with exclamation mark, which is HP/MP. Dragon Lord not needed to be defeated. So HP and MP is for safety in the Stone Golem fight, and for both stats. Like, it's good to have more HP, it's good to have more MP. Gets a blue Draki right away, and Overswarm is, I think, just improvising here. Because we got such a quick blue Draki, he's just going to punch it down. This is a guaranteed victory. Because blue Draki, there's no way blue Draki can win versus punches. But the common meta is to go buy a sword in a town, and that gives you more options of what to kill at level 1. This will get level 2. Level 2 you learn hurt. And then once you have hurt, you can snowball hurt, and you can kill more things. Like now we can kill this magician who we couldn't kill at level 1 with punches.
Then
now
you
he's
get hurt
level,
more.
Now he's level 3. We've got hurt more and sleep, and now we're hurt mooring a metal scorpion. This looks to be an extremely strong start for Overswarm. As the higher level you are, the more chance you have to run away from these guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Demon Knight.
it looked good. But I mean, it still seems good, right? Because, like, do you even need the sword now? You don't. I don't think.
Yeah, this is still good. Right now, no, you don't necessarily need it. You could still buy it. It does have some niche uses on the Stone Golem fight later on. But yeah, there's zones in Dragon Warrior, and the zones are 15 by 15 tiles. So they're squares that are 15 by 15. And in that particular zone, Demon Knights can spawn, and not only can they spawn, but they're double weighted. So there's two enemies that roll Demon Knights there. And Demon Knight is just a character that you can't use hurt more on it, you can't punch it down, it's just gonna kill you, and it's really hard to run away from. So it's basically a death sentence if you run into one. Everybody's gonna die to this thing. There's really not much you can do about it. All you can do is minimize your time into those zones with the Demon Knights, and like maximize your time on the grass tiles. The grass tiles have less encounters, and minimize your time in the zones with the Demon Knights is really all you can do. Like, we have to go through those zones to get the harp, to get to Cole, and I guess I should talk about what do you need to win. Well, we need the harp. The harp is at a certain set of coordinates that are known. Usually you would go to a town called Cantlin and talk to an old man and he tells you the coordinates of where to look for the harp. But since the seed is already fixed, we already know the coordinates, so we never have to go to Cantlin if we don't want to. And so you get the harp, you trade that in for the staff here in Garenham, which is the town Overstorm's in right now. And trade the harp in for the staff. Once we get the staff, we need the token from the town way to the west called Cole. And once we have the staff and the token, we need the Stones of Sunlight, which is protected by the spiked tile in Hawksnest, which is a stone golem. Overstorm hitting a metal slime. Very lucky. This will probably rocket him up to level 7. Let's see, heading into Cole here to pick up the token. So you need the three items. You bring the 3 items to a guy, and he converts them into the rainbow drop, and then you go use the rainbow drop to make the bridge to the Dragon Lord's castle, and then the goal is to enter the Dragon Lord's castle. So in short, you gather a bunch of items, trade them in for the rainbow drop, walk to the Dragon Lord's castle, and you're done.
And that death was intentional from Overswarm. I just want to mention we do have Einderspell, Color Theory, and MTI on the bottom now. Welcome. Looks like they are progressing well through the race.
Overstorm has everything except the Stones of Sunlight, which are guarded here in Hawksnest by the Stone Golem. Runs into a wizard, but is fortunate enough to be able to run away. He is level 7. The higher level you are, the easier it is to run away. And I'm going to go to the tile before Herb up and fight the Stone Man. Now, this fight can be dangerous. Basically, the strat is, if he's not asleep, put him to sleep. If he's not one hit away from dying with like a sword, then you put him back to sleep if he wakes up. And then you need to hit 2 Hurtmores plus a 3rd Hurtmore if you don't have a sword, or 1 to 2 sword hits, basically. He's casting Stop Spell as well. He knows Stop Spell. And Overstorm a bit unlucky there. Overstorm gets hit by the Stop Spell, which means he can no longer do reasonable damage. Tries to run away, fails, and gets bopped by the Stone Golem. There's not much you can do about this. I mean, he's level 7. That's fine. Like you just gotta try to kill it. Hurtmore has a 7 in 16 chance of hitting, so in theory you could get extremely unlucky and miss like 10 of them in a row, and then run out of mana. But yeah, the basic strategy is sleep him, and then 2 Hurtmores until they actually hit. And then looks like we got it this time. Usually you can get it second try, if not the first try. Usually. And that's it. Now he has to go turn everything in and get the drop, and then walk down to Dragon Lord Castle, and it's over.
Even with that death, I feel like getting that blue Draki at the beginning and kind of powering his leveling up, that was pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Overstorm has a good sense of... I feel like he has a good sense of the risk of this game, and that's pretty important. Some people just like rush off to get the token, and they're like level 1, level 2, and then they run into whatever, and then they can't run away from it, and they die. But Overstorm, I feel like he wants to level up a bit more before he goes that far, and then he can run away easier. And there we go.
I actually think what you just said might be one of the more underrated skills of just what makes a good racer, or not just in the Big 20, but in any race. It's just your ability to assess risks and backup plans, etc., and just knowing exactly how far you can push it safely.
And yeah, this Dragon Warrior is a goal where you're just gonna die, and there's nothing you can do about it. No matter what your route is, like everybody is just expecting to die at least once. if not more than once. You can reduce your risk of dying, but that's about it.
He's on the Funhouse, which is a really, really odd game of throwing tomatoes at various numbers.
I don't think so, Cove.
You do? Okay, fine, that's fine.
That was a Home Improvement reference.
Yeah, it's a Tim Allen joke. It's not Tim Allen, by the way. Everyone.
It's definitely Tim Allen. The object of Funhouse is you run around and you throw tomatoes at these discs, and then once you do it to all the discs, a key appears, and then you move on to the next level. Sometimes the discs have numbers on them, and you have to do them in order. And that's pretty much it. You just got to know the level layouts, know where the discs are. The other important thing is spinning discs block your shots, so like if there's a whole bunch in a row, you don't want to just go straight into all of them, because the closest one to you will block all your shots. You want to like go at an angle and shoot all your tomatoes from various angles. And that's pretty much it. It's got weird controls where you hold A to move forward and just turn left and right to turn.
Yeah, that is about it. The one thing that we'll probably watch all the runners do, but Overswarm's about to be on it, is there is a warp in 2-1, and this goal is to beat the first 2 floors warpless, ideally through, practice and just playing it. The runner's going to know not to go over where that warp is, but that could affect maybe more some of the blind racers or something.
Lack Attack having a rough level 1, and Dragon Warrior runs into a Metal Scorpion and a Skeleton, 2 things that you can't handle at level 1, and he might have the sword because he just killed a magician. Yeah, I think he has a sword here.
Okay, I'm actually we're gonna bring in DH Stom probably for our last update until like the official, whoever finishes at the top end of the race, and we'll see how everyone else is doing. So, DH Stom, how are you? As we're getting close to the end here, we see our top 3 looking like Overswarm, Lack, as Cardinality right now. What's it looking like elsewhere in the field?
Yep, that is a definitive top 3 at this point, but right behind them is a group of about 7 or 8 racers that are all doing really well. Arcus is already also on Super Sprint, and then we've got Blunt Bunny, Bright Shadow, Psytown, Serendipity, Fire Broth, Narblast, Grayskull, all are on Lawnmower. So that is a group that's staying together. Very tight still, so our top 10 is going to be really exciting to watch here.
That is awesome, and yeah, like I said, we're getting close to the end. It's gonna be super close, and then, with these last 3 games, anything can still happen.
It's true. I've also got some great news. Infinite Mystery is our final racer to finally get through streamers, has started to move on to Joust. Seems like they're taking a little bit of a break, enjoying the credits. And then some of our other runners that were doing this blind have definitely moved on forward. Overall, we've got, it looks like 4 players on Super Sprint, 5 on Lawnmower, 10 on Archistas Ring, 8 on Chicken of the Farm, 2 on Battle Tank, 6 on Adventure Island 3, 4 on Space Goals, and then we got a couple that are still playing catch up, 1 on Loops, 2 on Zetsees, 1 on Joust.
Awesome. Okay, so we're making it through. Those are some of those early games are tough. There might be some easier blind games like midway through, but again, it's looking like right now Overswarm's in the lead. We have some others like right behind, but we'll see how this ends. And again, Stom, thanks for being the sideline reporter today, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, can't wait to see this. And yeah, Overswarm definitely has a lead, but there's some hard games coming up, guys.
Absolutely.
Flag Attack picking up his Stones of Sunlight, going to head to the trade-in guy to get his Rainbow drop and end it. This card is notoriously extremely good at Dragon Warrior, I hear.
I've heard that as well. I don't know where that rumor came from, but you know.
He had an interesting opening where he went up north to Caitlin and fought a Metal Slime at level 1. I don't know if that was a manip or just go up there and try to find one by chance, but definitely very experienced in Dragon Warrior and Dragon Warrior Rando. One thing to note is, even if he is, you know, like of course Niscard is more experienced than anyone here at Dragon Warrior Rando, but since the seed is fixed, a lot of that advantage is kind of lost, because everybody knows everything about the seed pretty much. So, you know, all that years of Dragon Warrior Rando knowledge, he has some forms of advantage, but not as much as you might think, as the seed is fixed and much is known about it. Like for me in particular, I'm not very good at Dragon Warrior Rando, but I'm an expert at this seed, you know, so
Yep.
like I know all there is to know about it.
You
pretty
did
much.
know all there was to know about it, that's for sure.
Overswarm heading into Wario's Woods here. Sad to not see Prissy in this one, as Prissy is a Wario's Woods god.
I don't know if I've ever seen anyone as excited to see this game in there as Prissy was. He's been hoping for it for a very long time.
You gotta get three of the same color in a row, including one bomb, and you can get more. You can get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. If you get 5 in a row, you get a diamond, and then the diamond clears everything of that color. There's a lot of strategy involved of clearing out colors, like here. An Overswarm clears the green. The next thing to come cannot be green because there's no green on the board. It's very important to fully clear colors.
Yeah, as we see, as it gets to some of the more difficult levels, one interesting thing to see will be, you know, there's going to be a lot of, you want to get 5 colors in a row, 5 of the same color in a row to get those diamonds, but it could make you go way out of the way to try and create that, and actually cost you more time than you're trying to save. So it might be times where it might just be more efficient to just get a quick 3, another quick 3, as opposed to trying to make the map and the screen work in the way that would be, I guess, ideal.
Yep, and I think on most levels, people are going to know roughly what they want to do, but it does really depend on what the order of the fruit question mark that comes down actually is.
Each level has kind of 2 layouts, so you kind of know at the very start, if you're experienced, which layout you're on. There's an A and a B of the pattern of all the pieces on the board. But yeah, the drops are not always the same. So here we get a yellow bomb first. That might not always be the case. So I'm getting a nice clear on pink there. And a red diamond is his reward. Also, yeah, if you get a red bomb, when you have a red diamond, you want to use the bomb to clear the diamond. Otherwise, the bomb will stay on the screen. when you clear the diamond, and then you still have red on the screen, and then red pieces can still spawn. So important to just fully clear the colors. That's probably the most important thing, I would say. Is if you can get rid of a color, just get rid of it.
Yep. Yeah, throw that extra bomb into a combination so something else doesn't drop of that color. That's the most frustrating thing when you're we're waiting for a color and it just starts throwing orange bombs down at you when everything orange is still gone, but you still have that one orange bomb sitting there.
There's this meter in the upper right. It's constantly filling up. You can reduce it by doing combos, and if it fills all the way up, Wario appears, and he likes to chuck down more pieces and more stuff at you. Goal here is beat 20 rounds in game A.
It looks like Overswarm once they get that blue bomb, was able to kind of create stairs to get up there, and then a green diamond drop from it, which is really nice. Get rid of the green. Although there's that one green left, but it should be fine. There's some white bombs. It's through. Doing well so far. Yeah, and then just to kind of reiterate, it looks like, so we have Overswarm on Wario's Woods, which is game number 18 in first place. Lack is on game 17, which is Funhouse. And also Nessie is also on Funhouse. So that's looks to be our first, second, third place standings currently.
$17 here is usually a pretty easy one. You just got all these stacks of 2, which are just easily cleared. One thing we did mention about Wario's Woods is there's a lot of nice controls to it. You got B button picks up 1 block, A button picks up a whole stack of blocks. You can kick. You can do a whole bunch of stuff in this game. It's pretty fun to control. You can fall off of a stack, pick something up as you're falling, and then throw it up on something else as you're falling. There's a whole bunch of different moves you can do.
Yeah, Overswarm just had set it up so that the green enemies were all in a line, dropped the green bomb on it, it dropped the blue diamond, and then the blue diamond went in between 2 blue characters. So, nice easy clear there.
And this cutscene leads us to round 20, which is the final round of this goal.
Overswarm on
nice,
round 20. Yep. Nice clearance.
Picks up a nice 6 in a row there.
That's a good feeling there.
Yeah, looks like he's gonna clear the rest up here pretty easily. Not too shabby.
Good safe strats on Arquista by JD Silva there. He's kind of sitting in the corner waiting for all of them to bunch up there and jump back and forth so he can kill them with the fire rod. Yeah, we do have JD Silva on the bottom along with Narblast and Hero 82. So for G.I. Joe, you actually have 5 characters you can pick in these first levels. There's one additional one that you can have for the last level. You have one that's going to always be the leader, so each level one of them is kind of forced on you. They're mandatory. In this one, it's Duke. He's kind of your balanced average G.I. Joe. And then you have you have picked Rock and Roll, or at least Overswarm has, who has kind of the best gun, and then you have Snake Eyes, who can jump really high, and so that's why you're picking those two. Is at the beginning of this level, you needed to have Snake Eyes to get up to a weapon upgrade, and then you want Rock and Roll for a lot of the bosses in this whole playthrough. Oh, you also do want Snake Eyes for the first part of this boss as well, before swapping to Rock and Roll and then hitting the second part. And the process of this game is kind of the same across levels. The first level is more of a platformer to get to the next part. The second part is you have to find all these check marks to place a bunch of bombs, and then you end up going to a boss after that. There are many different kind of weapon upgrades involved with this game. When you get to like the levels 2 and the levels 3 for Rock and Roll, it'll increase the number of projectiles that he actually shoots. So those are very important levels to get to across the game as you're playing. And then this boss, you actually just need to shoot the missiles off of it. And for whatever reason, it falls after you do that.
All right, I'm gonna ride off into the sunset and leave the rest to my assistant, Apollo.
Sounds good, Yogi.
Thanks,
at your
thanks
service.
for stopping in.
Yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the race, and thanks for dropping some knowledge on us in the chat.
Will do. A lot of fun as always. Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Always good to have Yogi in here, one of the legends of NES speedrunning.
Absolutely.
We are still pretty close for second place. Looks like NES Cardinality is currently 6 levels behind Lack in Wario's Woods. So, I mean, still certainly a distance between them, a gap between them, but it's not that far.